Other areas may call collect. The opinions expressed by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily those of the station. Now, here's Neil Rogers on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
Well, I think I'll turn on Neil Rogers.
Hold it right there, pal. Don't touch that dial.
Oh, my God, it's Sonny.
It's Hallandale Vice 2, Sonny's Revenge.
Yeah, it looks like we got him. Thanks for the tip, Mrs. Aquacoit.
You're welcome, Sonny. I mean, I knew he was a sicko when I rented him the place. I mean, look at this. He even had this filth he was looking at.
My God. It's the Ted Bundy pictures. Looks like we stopped other future mass murderer Neil scumbag moron.
The streets of Hallandale are safe again, thanks to you, Sonny.
Just doing my job, Mrs. Aquacoit. By the way, I'm going to need your name and phone number. We contact you later.
Let me get you my card. Oops, I dropped my purse.
Say, what's that fell out of your purse?
Anyway, it's 10:06 at WIOD. I think I'm going to move to Hallandale just out of spite, okay? And then maybe after I live there a little while, I'll run for public office in Hallandale. I want to thank some amazing people this morning. We made both the Broward section of the Herald and the Sun Sentinel. Ron Ishoy, and this is really amazing because Ron, he really don't like the show, okay? Let's be honest. But we thank him anyway because it says the only thing sillier than Neil Rogers saying all those stupid things, saying those things on the radio is the Hallandale City Commission trying to censor what he says and get him fired. Come on, folks. This is America. Just turn the dial.
Oh.
Where have we heard that before?
I've heard that before.
Including on the Morton Downey show last night, which we will talk about at length, by the way. It was, oh, God. And then Gary Stein, who writes in the Sun Sentinel, on the front page of the Metro section, is inviting people to get mad about certain things. Mm-hmm. And one of them, he says, get worked up at politicians in Hallandale who are still wasting time battling with caustic but highly entertaining radio talk show host Neil Rogers. The commission approved drafting a resolution urging the denial of a license renewal for WIOD, which airs Rogers' show. Do you people in Hallandale pay your city commissioners to get involved in censoring a talk show host? And what talk show host might be censored next? Question mark. So we thank Ron and Gary, and what can I say? I mean, anybody with common sense understands that we live, hopefully, in America, except for those people who have minds like fascists and want to do the censoring themselves. But anyway, we had Joey on yesterday. Joey was very entertaining here. Joey's one of those people whose own show sucks, but when he's on with somebody else, he's kind of like Lee Fowler with his phone calls, you know.
There you go.
But we had a good time with Joey yesterday. He's a good guy, although I will say when he started critiquing this show, I mean, I appreciated the positive comments, but when he started critiquing the show, I became a little bit nervous, and Joey was lucky we ran out of time. And he was on with Morton Downey last night.
Yeah.
And I want to get into that show, because that show really hit so close to home, as bad as the show was, with all of the things that are going on here. First of all, we got a collect call from Princeton, New Jersey. Every day on this show, it seems, we start with a long-distance call from some godforsaken place. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing? How you doing, Bert?
Okay.
Now, wasn't that the home of Woodrow Wilson?
I give up.
Princeton, New Jersey, I think so.
I don't know. Well, listen,
It's right near Freehold, isn't it?
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, you don't know. What, sir, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything you do know?
Well, I know that you and the Bird have the best talk show in the nation.
Like I said, sir, we love this call.
Well, I'll tell you what, the first thing I want to say is Roger is the coolest, because I called an hour ago by accident. I had an accident, a telephone accident, not a radio accident.
Yeah.
I called in because I was listening to Howard Stern, and I said, oh, God, I got to talk to Neil. So anyway, I call up, and you know how those AT&T operators are really rude on the phone? You know how they break into your line?
Yes, I do.
They get really rude?
Mm-hmm.
Well, at first Roger answered the phone. He goes, oh, hello. And at first I thought I got the wrong number. And he said, who is it? And the AT&T operator goes, sir, would you like to make it a person? You know, where's he calling? Rat, sir? She started getting really
Try
hot.
to stay calm, sir.
Yeah, she started getting real hot. I was trying to act like Lee Fowler.
Well, it sounds like Lee Fowler now. It sounds like you're shouting out the window. His call is distorting now. You're eating the phone.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Try to use a little better telephone technique.
Okay, I'll use my polite phone technique.
That's better.
Anyway, Roger says, okay, sweetheart, I'll take the call. It's like, here's a way of saying, you know, you old Wednesday, I'll take
Well,
it.
Roger says the operator was a real jerk.
She was.
A jackass.
Yeah.
A douchebag.
Yeah, that's exactly
A mung
right.
brain. But other than that, she was okay.
Well, the main reason reason I wanted to call you is because I turned Howard Stern on because I'm a PI and I live in Miramar. And I'm up here for the weekend and visiting my mother-in-law, which is a trip in itself. So anyway, I turned him on, and, you're having a big problem with censorship and everything down there. And the first thing I turn on, they're talking about condoms.
Yeah.
He's talking about he's wearing these lamb condoms on the air.
Yeah.
They call the AIDS hotline, and they got a recording that you can only call the AIDS hotline from 9 to 1 or something. He goes, oh, that's a real good hotline. And then it comes on in bilingual, and then he says in Spanish, and then he says, well, now we know who has AIDS. And so they start talking, they're talking about condoms and AIDS and everything on the air, going crazy. So I thought, that's pretty, they're trying to censor you. But,
well, that's what I was talking about at the beginning of the show today. If these yo-yos, if these parochial yo-yos in this town, I got news for you, okay? There is nothing that we ever do on this show that we couldn't do on television on the Morton Downey Jr. show. And here are these two wackos from Houston. And I'm not saying that they ought to be censored, but I am saying that they do a lot of really dirty stuff. And here they are, and they had to delete the whole segment, not just bleep parts of it out. They had to delete the whole segment at the beginning of the show because it was so dirty, okay? And then they were constantly bleeping words out. I mean, not just one or two, but constantly throughout the show.
And the one guy came on.
And this is the shtick they do on the air on the radio.
Yeah, the one guy came on, and he was talking about the first thing you start to show off is asking people the oddest places they had sex.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was that was the guy from San Diego. He was a real loser. Well, listen, this call is breaking up. It's great hearing from you. Have a wonderful life. And when are you coming back?
I'm coming back Sunday night.
Okay, well, just in time to miss the cold weekend.
Yeah, well, listen, if you have a chance, I don't know if you're getting Marvin up there.
I know it's nice and warm up there in New Jersey.
Yeah, I got off the plane. You know how you had to walk away from the plane to the inside of the terminal?
Yeah.
I took one breath of fresh air, and I froze my nostril hairs.
Okay.
I said,
say goodbye.
Okay, bye, Neil.
See ya. 12 minutes after 10 at WIOD, and Sharon be calling in a little after 10:30. She's stealing my car today, and they're putting a LoJack device in it, and then we're going to track it down, hopefully. And, well, just in time for the weekend. Of course, I got a couple of other cars just in case. That's why it's always good to have a spare. Oh, I want to talk about that, too, because Steve had a really interesting call from some young punk out there who drives a pickup truck talking about how Steve ought to have a Corvette. But anyway, right now, I want to remind you that in less than 20 minutes, Charhut's going to be unlocking those doors, and that means you can... Okay, now, what did I give out yesterday? Oh, gee, whatever it was. Oh, Green Performer. Wasn't that the one?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It was?
In the 8th race at Gulfstream, ran 7th, and Gentle Tim ran 2nd, just missed by half a length. Got beat by a 29-to-1 shot with Mike Gonzalez. Oh, if I'd have known Mike was riding that horse, I'd have given that one, but he still got beat. But the perfecta in that race paid $264, and the trifecta paid $2,100. Anyway, we don't want to get sidetracked with that. I do want to remind you I'll be at Gulfstream on Sunday morning, and we're going to be raising money for the Community Alliance Against AIDS at Gulfstream on Sunday morning at 11:30, which we'll tell you more about later. Sharon is in the process of stealing my car right now, etc., etc. Okay, now going back to the show last night, which you saw parts of it, I would say of all the Morton Downey Jr. shows, and I don't watch him that much anymore because it's a horrible show and he's making millions of dollars, and more power to him, and everybody knows him, says he's a great guy, and that's fine. But the show is ponderous, and of course here they taped this one in Houston, and the subject was Schlock Radio and Schlock TV, and they brought these two morning guys from Houston who have worked in Dallas and Houston and back and forth. They were on there. Joey was on for, I think, a total of about 2.5 minutes. He was like at one of the beef boxes in the audience. He wasn't up on the stage. And they had some guy from San Diego who claims he worked in this market, Jeff somebody, and I have no idea who he is or never heard of him in my life. And he was awful. He was shaking. Did you notice how nervous he was? He was like panic-stricken. Although when you're on with Mort, I can understand it because it's, yesterday I was saying to Joey, get me on that show because Mort's a good friend of his. I would never go on that show.
No.
For all the money in the world. What would it accomplish? I mean, the only reason you go on that show is if you're prepared to make just a total jackass out of yourself, which I can do here. I don't need to go on there and do it in front of the whole country. But, so anyway, they had the thrust of the conversation was just how far should radio and TV go, and is it exploitation, and is it this, and is it that? And anyway, they had to bleep out that whole segment with these two guys from Houston. Then they had to keep bleeping words out. In fact, one of the words was like, if I use it in a different context, like, if you had a needle and you pricked your finger, that was one of the words that they kept bleeping. And you could see them form the word, with the mouth. You had to be a moron not to see what they were saying. And there were lots of others as well. Mm-hmm. And the bottom line is, the one thing that kept coming up over and over again, if you don't like it, turn it off.
Yeah, how about that?
So each person out there can be his or her own individual censor. I'd say the overwhelming majority of the people in the audience who had a comment were saying that, turn it off. Although the people in the audience, where does Downey get those audiences? In New York, you expect that. Because that New York, the Bronx cheer, whatever that is, you expect in the Bronx, okay? But, although they do it in Secaucus, but same difference. Here it's in Houston, and he had a bunch of rednecks going, like that. And, man, that was even more fitting than in the Bronx. I mean, they were just a bunch of wild children, It was incredible.
Mort rules.
Mort rules, yeah, I saw that. I thought maybe Harlan must have made that sign, Mort rules, yeah. These kids, man, they come up, you talk about ponderous expressions, they come up with these stupid expressions, and they just, bury them into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, Mort rules, Neil rules. Yeah, boy,
tough to get a word in edgewise on that show. If you went on there...
Oh, they were just... seriously, Joey, I'm exaggerating. When I say he was on 2.5 minutes, maybe he was on 80 seconds tops. A little over a minute.
No time.
No, not at all. He might as well not have even been there.
Yeah.
And, of course, I got to be honest with you, because I grew up listening to Joey, who claims to be 48, but I think he left the number out off in the beginning of that. He has never done that.
Is he really the great-grandfather of schlock radio?
He's the great-grandfather of radio, but not of schlock radio. He never did that stuff that I know of.
Right.
He really didn't. Certainly not anything like those guys in Houston are doing, or like Steve Dahl is doing in Chicago, or Howard's doing in New York. And that's why, really, I'm saving that tape, because that tape's going to come in handy for us here. Because if there's anybody, and I do mean anybody, including our good friend out there in the audience, who believes that anything we're doing even comes close to the stuff that goes on, you see, how the hell can you be an expert on community broadcast standards in major metropolitan markets when you spend all of your time in Coral Gables tape recording radio shows off one station? I mean, this individual isn't even an expert on community standards in this market because he's not listening to the other shows, including the morning shows on FM, where they do far racier stuff than we do, okay?
Oh.
I don't want to mention our friend Tanner, but he's one example, and there are lots of others.
There's many examples.
Lots of examples. And right over here next door.
Yes, no question. No one would argue with that.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I hear the stuff. It's funny.
Hey, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying anybody ought to be off the air, but I'm just saying to you, everything is relative, okay? And this show and anything we've ever done these last couple of years since I changed my format is so tame and so mild by comparison that it's a joke. And that's why if people were to look, if they could see, like our attorneys have, the files from INZ and Zeta, after the FCC investigated all those complaints, which all came from the same person, by the way, there's nothing there. There's nothing there because they're not concerned about anything we're doing, and they never have been. And so when people keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again because of a personal vendetta, it just isn't going to hold any water, okay? There's just nothing there. And I got news for you, man. This stuff that's going on TV now. And don't get me wrong, again, I'm not saying that it ought to be censored, but you talk about scraping the bottom of the barrel and reaching the lowest common denominator. This is where it's at. And they were saying last night, hey, this is what the public wants. And it's just like what Donahue said here a few weeks ago. If the public wants him to go into a ring and mud wrestle with some woman and get thrown out of the ring, that he'll do it, if that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Because it's a business.
Well, I think it's so funny that we have a lot of new listeners, people who have read about this in the paper. And you know human nature, as soon as they read that it's condemned and it's controversial, people immediately have to see what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And to tune into this show and hear it, they must be scratching their heads.
Say, I don't understand what's so controversial.
Yeah,
okay?
what are they talking about?
Here, yeah?
When's it going to happen?
Well, they have to consider the source. 22 past 10 at WIOD. I want you to come on out. 10:26 at WIOD. We're going to be talking to Sharon in a few minutes. She's in a process of swiping my car and going off and hiding it. And, of course, the LoJack people have put one of those devices in the car, and then they're going to track it down and find it, we hope. Now, why did Sharon, by the way, have all her stuff? She had, like, a whole bunch of stuff packed up. Yeah. That she was sticking in the car before she left. Looked like she was not prepared to come back real soon, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, we'll be talking to her in a few minutes. Isn't it amazing that on the front page of the Herald, not the Broward edition, but just the regular old Herald, to show you that they have nothing more important to do in Hallandale, here is a picture of John Peanuts Tronolone. And it says, reputed crime boss snared in Hallandale jewel sting. An undercover detective posing as a gambler caught a reputed high-ranking mobster in Hallandale on Thursday, arresting John Peanuts Trontalone for accepting $77,000 in allegedly stolen jewels as payment for gambling and loan sharking debts. Trontalone, 78, said to be the boss of the Cleveland organized crime family, is suspected of running South Florida bookmaking and loan sharking operations that handled $50 to $70 million in bets each year.
God.
It's not Peanuts, said Peter Antonacci, Florida statewide prosecutor. He's one of the big enchiladas.
Now, that shows why they have so much time.
See, there's nothing going on there in Hallandale.
No,
As a matter of fact, I don't know how many years ago that this was really operative or if there's still a lot of mafia people. By the way, good morning to everybody in Golden Beach. But Hallandale was one of the hangouts. In fact, there were a whole bunch of little restaurants. I don't want to get into an ethnic thing, but there was a whole bunch of little restaurants that were like the meeting places for the top mob people in Hallandale.
About 20 years ago, you mean? Is that what you're talking about?
More like 30, I would say.
30 years
in
ago.
In the 50s.
North Bay Village, too, was a...
And then, like, everybody got tired of Hallandale because it was too geriatric, and they moved to Golden Beach. But anyway, it's good to see that they have nothing else to do over there. We want to thank everybody who sent their fax things yesterday. I'm going to give that number out again if you want to send us one of your letters of support. One of the most interesting letters of all of them was somebody, because I get a copy of every one of them, and there were just tons that came through yesterday and this morning. Somebody said he doesn't like this show, but he's just appalled by the attempt to censor. In other words, he turns it off. He enjoys Steve's show. He hates this show, but he is 100% behind us, which, you know... I mean,
like
most of the letters were people who love the show, but that was pretty interesting.
Sounds like Ron Ishoy's attitude.
Oh, I don't know that Ron hates the show. It's just that he has that incestuous relationship with Greg Bedell, and he just... No, listen, hey, sincerely, I really appreciate that. Both Ishoy, who is not fond of the show, and Gary Stein in the Sun Sentinel. I mean, but as I said, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to realize if you don't like the show, turn it off. There's nothing so outrageous going on here. I mean, here we are. The big complaint from Hallandale is that we're picking on old people and making jokes about Metamucil. And here these guys who can't even do their radio shtick on Morton Downey, they have to bleep the whole thing out because they use such filthy material, okay? Now, who the hell's kidding whom?
Also, I watched last night the David Letterman anniversary show, finally, and Jerry Steinfeld, the comedian, was on, doing jokes about elderly drivers in Florida.
Oh, no, can't do that.
So I guess next Hallandale's going to be...
And I guess we'll probably have to condemn the New York Times, too, because it was that Sunday Times Magazine article. The roles are different here, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was kind of like the highlight of that whole Hallandale thing we did 2 years ago. That was like one of the centerpieces of it. And she said everything that I've said about the drivers, about the early bird, about the sweet and low, about stealing the rolls and stuffing stuff in your purse, and the behavior in supermarkets. I'll never forget that one market in Sunrise, and I can never think of the name of it. I think it's in Sunrise or Tamarack. That was a sponsor of mine several years ago when I was on one of those OLD stations. And I went in there, and the people who owned and ran it, very nice people, but they were giving me the honest lowdown on what went in there. And they said, on Sunday morning, when they open at 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever time, the old farts are standing on line. And they go in, they're rushing inside. They have some kind of specials, I guess, on Sunday. They go rushing inside, and they're fighting with each other over packages. They're grabbing packages out of each other's hand. They have to have a special security guard there because of the barbaric things that go on. I mean, they told me stories that would make new hair grow on your head.
Yeah.
And these are people who, you know, who derive an income from them, but they're just appalled by the behavior. But I guess we can't talk about those things because they're pretty outrageous and controversial, right? Anyway, here's the fax number at WIOD, 757-7516. 757-7516.
There you go, that's it. Larry Kent.
Is it true that Larry Kent is the new sales manager at Magic 102.7? Is that true, or is that just a rumor and that he starts on Monday? That's the popular rumor around town.
Well, listen, he's going to be one of the biggest sales managers.
He is
in
a
this
monster
city.
in the broadcasting industry and certainly a giant in sales, no question about that. So we wish Larry all the luck in the world because what goes around. Okay, look at that. Every line on the board, slowly but surely here, while we've been spewing our BS, every line has lit up with the exception of the Palm Beach line, of course. So if you're out of Palm Beach, there's your chance of a lifetime, man, especially if you're mobile and you call in that line. Not only will we get right through, but you'll probably be on first because there are no mobiles on the other 7 lines. 655-9463. 655-WIOD. Now, before we get into the thing with Sharon, I just want to say this about yesterday. Steve had this call, And the thing that made it a funny call is this young guy, at the end of the call, he's giving Steve a lecture about how he should buy American cars and Toyota of Hollywood and all this other. And at the end of the call, he says, well, I drive a, what's that kind of pickup truck? It's a Chevy, some kind of a Bronco or something like that, whatever the name is. And, he's giving a lecture about how Steve ought to buy a Corvette. And he drives a pickup truck. Now, I didn't have the heart, because Steve made some kind of comment about how Neil had a Corvette, and now he's got a Super, a Turbo. Neil has both. I don't want to start being a yuppie or anything like that. But they're two completely different kinds of cars, and I love them both, okay? The Super is a four-seater, first of all, the Turbo. Secondly, it's a very smooth-riding car. It doesn't ride like a sports car. It rides like a limousine, like a Cadillac kind of ride that you would expect. And the Corvette, of course, I'm not saying it's got a bad ride, but I mean, you're in a sports car when you're in a Corvette, but it's a totally different kind of car. The Vette's a faster car. I love them both. But, so the best thing is go out and buy one of each. And get rid of your pickup truck. Here's a mobile on that line, boy. Ask and ye shall receive. Hello.
I'm here, Neil.
Yes, sir. And we're here, too.
I need rickshaw talk-up so bad today. Please.
Do you? Well, don't hold your breath. Anyway, it's 10:32 at WIOD. Now, we're not taking... right off the bat, man, here we go through a half an hour song and a dance, more Downey show, Joey, all this other stuff we're talking about, and he wants a Ticky talk-up. Man, come on now. What's wrong with you, pal? We have that one open line there just for you. We put you on ahead of the whole pack of schmageggies here, and what do you give us? Oh, please, I need a Ticky talk-up. Good, turn on Waxy, okay? The guy's on like about 20 hours a day doing those ponderous 50s talk-ups again. Ooh. By the way, speaking of FM, man, I got to tell you, you know the old saying, the more things change, the more they stay the same? That Rose, the music over there is becoming more obscure by the moment.
What a surprise.
And it bothers me, because I tell you, at nighttime, I don't like listening to talk at night, because there's nothing to listen to anyway, to be honest with you. And when I'm in the car at night, I like hearing some music, and I don't always remember to bring out some CDs and put them in the car. And I got news for you, man. Finding a record that you want to hear is not easy on FM in this market. The music on, and I don't want to get them upset next door or get Spike running around like a lunatic, but the music on FM in this market really sucks, okay? It really does. I mean, you hear all this marginal, and the oldie stations like to play all these novelty records. Like last night I punch up, I think it was, well, I don't know, it was either Magic or Wax, and they're playing John Fred and the Playboy Band and Judy in Disguise with Glasses. Now, that's maybe once every 6 months you want to hear a record like that. It's like the Purple People Eater, But, God, they play so many of those silly, I think is the operative word. It's a silly market with a lot of silly people in the business, okay? Like Ricky Ticky, a silly guy. He really is. And like Joe Johnson's a great friend of ours and a super guy, and he has sent us over some tremendous material. But he's a silly guy, okay? We love him, but he's a silly guy. In fact, that whole station, it's a good station, but it's a silly station, isn't it?
Well, they got Ron St. John on there.
Well, like I said, that speaks for itself, okay? All right, that should be, it's 10:35. Is she right on time or what? That should be Sharon right now as we speak, by the way. And maybe Jay and Ken from... LoJack are going to be on there, too. Hello?
Hi.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Why did you have a knapsack and all that stuff put together before you left here this morning and got in my car?
Well, Neil, I had to tell you, I had second thoughts about the whole thing. Steve's been driving me crazy lately. And I thought, well, I've got to get out of here.
Well, I want to remind you of one thing. You pretty got some nerve wasting all of this valuable time. You could be booking guests for Steve, because you're Steve's producer, not my producer.
Oh, yes, let's get that clear.
Let's straighten that out right up front, okay?
But I know you're a generous man, Neil.
Yes.
And your car will
Well, I hope you enjoy it, yeah.
put together my escape fund.
Okay, don't go putting any cheap oil in it either, okay? It's got to use that real expensive stuff. It's one of those high-priced hot cars.
And super test, right?
So where are you, well, we don't want to give any clues as to where you're going, but anyway, Sharon is in the process of hiding the car, and then Ken and Jay from our good friends over there at LoJack are following, so they've stuck the device in the car, right?
Yeah, they put the device in the car, but I tell you, Neil, they're going to have a hard time. My diabolical mind, I have really, really hidden it very well.
Good.
How about the car? Yeah, cute. Okay, so what are they doing now? In other words, they gave you a head start. How many minutes head start?
I hate to tell you this because they're really hot on my tail. There's been a Coral Gables police car that's been circling around the area.
A Coral Gables police car,
right?
Isn't that interesting?
Because they notify all the police agencies, and then the police have transmitters as well.
Well, if there's a Coral Gables police car tailing you, I'd govern myself accordingly if I were you.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to go up to Hallandale.
Okay, so you're going to hide it now, and then how much later are they going to start looking? Because I know we're going to talk to them again.
I have hidden it.
Oh, you already have hidden it, and they're looking.
Yeah, they're looking.
Okay.
But they haven't found it. Neil, I'm telling you, it's hidden very well.
I'll bet. Okay, well, let's make sure that you don't hide it too well. You know what I'm saying, Sharon?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I had second thoughts about it. I thought, if they don't find it, that's my ticket out of here.
Yeah, okay. Trust me, the device works real well, okay? Okay, we'll talk to you a little later.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, Neil.
Okay, there goes Sharon, who's hidden my car, and the LoJack people are hot on her tail, and we'll talk a couple of more times and find out, how many minutes it took them to find her. It really is an amazing thing. Anyway, Henry's probably getting a little PO'd now because we're running way over, and that's his problem, okay? Just take another sip and relax. It's 10:37 on 610 WIOD. 10:41 at WIOD. Let's get some of these calls in, okay? You're never going to guess who's on one of the lines, but I noticed that Rogers put him at the bottom of the list, okay? Are you there?
I can't imagine who it is.
Hold on. Okay, I'll put him on hold because I don't want to put him at, ahead of anybody else, but I just don't want to get him to get the feeling that we're going to leave him for last. Although I'll tell you this, we probably will, okay? Hold on. Go away. Miami, hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes.
Bird, good morning.
Hi.
Did I hear you say that Peanuts got busted?
Peanuts, yeah.
Does that mean I can tear up my IOUs?
In fact, you better let Snoopy out for a little while because I think he's having some serious stomach problems at the moment.
Yeah, I believe that. Listen, these guys up in Hallandale, I'm really having a hard time swallowing all of that, too. I mean, if they want to hear controversy, I think what they need is about a 20-minute shot of the Grease Man.
Yeah, that would do it. I think 20 seconds might do it.
Yeah, it would be 20 seconds. Well, I cruised down here from D.C., and I heard him when he was in Jacksonville and in D.C., and I'll tell you, it's non-pareil. What can I say?
Yeah.
But the reason I called is I read an article in the paper this morning that made me kind of sad. Did you happen to see the Margarita Fishner article about Gulfstream in the Herald this morning?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of like a death knell. It just makes me sad. I don't know. Then I hear on the news this morning that the City Commission is trying to throw chalks off of Watson Island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's next?
Well, let's see.
Kill all the flamingos over at...
Next thing, probably do the worst thing. We'll probably throw Barbara Capitman off of South Beach, and then we'll really be in trouble.
Well, listen, I just wanted to...
Don't you understand? The operative word in this town, sir, is death. Death. Creeping, inevitable, inexorable death.
Yeah, and it's truly sad. I mean, I'm third generation Florida. And
well, March 1st will be 13 years that I've worked in this market, and I'm going to tell you, just in that short time, I have seen such a decay and such a deterioration, and so many great restaurants close, and so many great landmarks disappear, and so many living and breathing people calling in on the show to tell us that they're leaving, and so many people coming in on rubber rafts, who really have little to contribute to the area, and it's just pathetic.
It is. It makes me sad. I mean, I grew up here. My dad grew up here. My grandfather grew up here. But maybe I'm too hard-headed. I'm not going to leave.
No, me either.
Well,
in spite of it all, never.
In spite of it all, I got to roll. See you Sunday at the track.
Okay, thanks.
You bet.
10:44 at WIOD. We have an open line in Dade. If you move quickly now, 751-9463, 751 WIOD. I wonder if we're getting any fax stuff, because Sharon is out there
that's right.
doing her thing. Well, it'll probably be a gigantic pile for her when she comes back.
Oh.
Kind of like with my dog.
Yeah, very relatable.
Same principle. Anyway, what was that fax number? It's 757-7516. Fort Lauderdale, hello.
Hello, Neil.
Hi.
Hi, this is Barron. Hello, Glen.
Hi.
I'm doing okay. I won't ask you. Neil, you look great at Hollywood Toyota. I came out there to get my snare drum head re-autographed. I know I promised you a song about Ricky Tickey's cap, but...
Yeah, you did, as a matter of fact. Yeah, what happened to
it?
him?
Well, the boys in the band thought he's just too small potatoes, and with all this stuff happening elsewhere, we came up with a song that I think will fit everyone and everything. I don't want to give it away, but it's a Beatles song. I don't know if you like the Beatles. And I'm just worried about Michael Jackson soon, because he owns it all now, I hear.
Yeah, he'll probably be getting a letter if we play it on the air.
Yeah. Okay.
Cease and desist, govern yourself accordingly.
Yeah. Well, my brother and my bass player decided to head
Although
down.
it is interesting that there are those people who record this program, which is copyrighted by Cox Broadcasting, who owns all of the material on the entire radio station, and then take it and use it, rebroadcast it in other places, and violate the copyright laws of the station on a daily basis.
Uh-huh. Well, we figured instead of going to the U.S. Post Office, we'd better bring it down there in person because, they're into some real setups from what I hear. And but they're on their way down there. It's not food or nothing, but they're on their way down with a tape, and they want to leave it with your secretary. And it's a Beatles song. It's called Nowhere Man, but we kind of changed it around to maybe something you could kind of figure on.
And
I don't know if I want to say it, but you always say it on the air.
Say it.
Well, we changed it to kind of asshole man.
Yeah.
So,
really?
It's kind of fitting for what's happening now. And I also wanted to stress that it's not something that we just cut out half the side of the tape and just put words in. Like I know a lot of people use just they use those maskers or whatever they're called, where you just erase half the song and put your own words. It's all us.
It's kosher.
And it's kosher, yeah. It's approved.
Well, that's good. Maybe we'll have a little bit of it for lunch, too.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. 1046 at WIOD. We have an open line in Broward, 524-9463. And for the mobiles and the long-distance people and anybody who's alive, that line 8, of course, is always open in Palm Beach. 655-9463. 655-WIOD. Speaking of cars...
Radio 610, WIOD.
Okay, well, we're just getting impatient. Okay, we're sick and tired of hearing those long rejoins. It's 10:50, 10 till 11 at WIOD, and let's go to West Boca. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I sent you a fax yesterday, and
yes, you did. We appreciate it.
That's my pleasure. I just wanted to say that a lot of people listen to the show.
Even if you are chronic.
Do you want me to say goodbye?
No, come on. Don't start getting emotional with us. Come on.
Okay, I won't. Forget it. I just want to say all the people that listen to the show and enjoy the show and never get rated by Arbitron or anybody, now's a good time to express your support, whether it's by fax or letter or that kind of thing. I just think it's a good idea, and I think everybody should do that.
Amen.
Are you able to speak at all now about the situation at your previous place where they kind of muzzled you on this situation here?
Sure. Well, I'm able to speak as the way that I see it and my attorney sees it. When the stories are out, and by the way, there are going to be all kinds of stories. In fact, here we had a thing in the Herald again this morning and one in the Sun Sentinel, and we've had stories even in the prestigious Hallandale Digest, so I guess once it hits there, it's wide, the whole world knows about it. But, it talks about the 19 months of harassment and the ongoing campaign, so I guess anything that, is within the realm of that is fair game because it is part of an ongoing news story.
Yeah.
And, when you say, what do you want me to say as far as being muzzled? I mean, these people were harassed over there constantly by this individual.
Yeah.
And he found a willing ear up there in Portland, Maine, and Bob Gilbertson, who's one of the corporate head honchos of Guy Gannett.
Right.
And I think, Gilbertson is somewhat, I don't want to paint him together, but somewhat of the same conservative mentality as this individual. So every time he'd get a phone call, we would get a call, well, gee, are you playing this? And take it off. Are you playing that? Take it off. And it got to the point where, we couldn't do anything. I mean, the number of things that were left for us to talk about on Zeta was like the weather and what was coming in for lunch that day. And beyond that, man, there was not much. I mean, I'm telling you, and I mean this, there was no sexual content of any kind permitted on that show. Now, if you ever listen to an FM morning show anywhere in this country, I don't know of any other morning show where all sexual content has been eliminated because most of the humor is related to something about sex. And, so the fact that we were able to do as well as we did under such restraint was a major miracle. I mean, I don't know how we did it.
It was pretty amazing, but... I don't know. I was just kind of curious because I had heard rumblings about there had been some kind of agreement that they forced you to sign over there so you wouldn't be talking about this character.
That is correct. That's absolutely correct. And it was there are some very bizarre legal machinations behind that, by the way, which would make your hair fall out. But again, the exception in that agreement, see, we didn't sign the agreement. We signed a letter attached to it.
Right.
But the agreement has an exception which is very clear and says that the exception is if it's a legitimate bona fide news story, we can discuss it, and which, one would hope you could because this is America, I think.
So far.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, okay. All right, just curious about that. Did you ever get those Metamucil recipes I sent you?
Oh, yes, we sure did.
All right, well, maybe now you should send them off to Sonny there.
No, I'm working with my dogs on it.
But to give you a prime example of what we're always talking about, Rich, about Palm Beach County, you won't see this in the Boca paper.
It was not in my edition of the Sun Sentinel or the Herald. Well, the Herald up here is kind of the national edition. They just had the Super Bowl results, I think, yesterday.
From last year,
Well, it's tailored to Palm Beach.
Oh, come on, Glenn.
No, I'm serious, Rich. I'm serious.
Well, anyway, it's kind of ponderous, but anyway, a lot of us are supportive of your efforts.
Oh, I know.
Thanks
I
a
give you
lot.
some grief.
So keep smiling and butch up.
Okay, we'll try. Speaking of butch up, let's get it over with, okay?
Why not? Why not? That wasn't Fat Rich, was it?
No.
No, that was Slim Rich.
Hey, let me ask you a question about Rich real quick before I get on with
What Rich?
Fat Rich.
Oh, Fat Rich.
Yeah, his last name doesn't begin with a P, does it?
No, it sure doesn't.
Okay, it's not the same Rich I'm thinking of.
No, this one that we just spoke to began with a P.
Ah, okay, then that's the Rich that I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay. Well, boy, this is really exciting, I'm sure, to the rest of the audience.
Listen.
So, for those of you out there, he lives in Palm Beach County. If you want to open up the telephone directory and look under everybody under P and find somebody whose first name is Rich, you might actually get his phone number.
Okay, but anyway, you remember the situation back on Zeta with the high school and the coach?
Oh, yeah. That call was definitely a part of this whole thing, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Is it this one and only same individual?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know who made the phone call. The phone call wasn't from the individual, but there can be no question that it was involved in this whole campaign, because at the end of the call, this wacko's govern yourself accordingly, which, of course, is the phrase that is used in all of these threatening letters by this same individual. So, as somebody I know once said, there are no coincidences. It couldn't possibly have been just a coincidence, in addition to which, later on, the notorious individual we've been talking about was making phone calls to some of the kids at Cooper City High and their parents who were listeners of mine. See, this is the thing. You know, we attracted a lot of teenagers and high school students who really got into the show, and we have a lot of them now, you know. And so right away, here's the inference. He's trolling for sex from boys on the air and all of this other crap. And, I mean, some of the things that were said were just so outrageous and slanderous as to be unbelievable.
Well, you've heard it said that success breeds success. Well, in this case, success breeds envy. And this guy obviously hates himself and can't handle the success of others. And he's taking it out on you. It's as simple as that.
Well, what can I say? Good luck to him.
Listen, one other thing. I went to Siam's Doll the other night, and I told Boone, I said, give me whatever Neil eats. And he came out with something I've never had before, curry pop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are delicious.
Aren't they great?
I don't know how many of them we ate, but they were unbelievable.
Okay.
All right, well, listen, I hope everything's going to work out, and it's all going to turn out to be a good day.
Good day. Okay, we got a little update on what's going on with my car and Sharon and the LoJack. Who's this?
Hi, this is Mike Donsky with LoJack.
Yeah, Mike, how are you?
Okay.
What's happening?
I'm in the LoJack van, and I'm in the area of Coconut Grove somewhere. So I got a feeling Sharon may be taking a trip.
Yeah, you better catch up to her pretty quick, because I got a feeling she's on her way to San Jose. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. But we're closing in on her, and we'll be there shortly.
All right, now wait a minute. I want the people to, if you just don't say anything for a second, you listen to those beeps. There it is. Those are the sounds of the little signal that's tracking, and there's a device that you're looking at, which the police have, and it shows the direction. In other words, it's like a compass, kind of. Wouldn't that be a good description?
Exactly.
Kind of like a compass, and as you're turning it, it zeroes in right on that one spot where you're right on the tail of the signal.
Gives me an idea of the relative distance as well as the relative bearing that the stolen vehicle is.
You know, it sounds
in
like...
relationship to the police car.
Well, don't take too long, Mike, because I got a feeling when she had that suitcase in that knapsack, I had a feeling we might not see her again soon.
Okay, well, I'll hurry up and try and get her for you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Sounds like something out of a James Bond movie.
Well, it almost is. I mean, it's I never even heard of such a thing until they came and, bought advertising on the show, and they took me out on a demo ride. Well, actually, we went twice because they wanted to show me it wasn't a fluke, and it was amazing, astonishing. I mean, they don't just find a general area. They come right up to the car no matter where you park it. 10:58 at WIOD. We have an opening in Dade, 751-9463, North Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
Good.
I wanted to, when Cox called you yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had just seen him about 20 minutes before in a liquor store at 12:30 in the afternoon.
Really?
And I said, Don, why don't you give Neil a call? He's been he's been talking to me. He said you're chronic, so he did end up calling you.
That's great. Well,
anyway.
he's probably got since Sonny's been off the air, Don has to keep those people in business,
Anyways.
He's been hanging out with Grandma Boone lately.
Yeah. I wanted to know about Thursday, about the City Commission meeting. Is the City Commission at the Diplomat Mall? In a storefront, maybe?
Good question.
Not that we noticed. No, I don't even know where it is. But anyway, it's on Tuesday the 21st.
It's on Tuesday the 21st.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to be there with bells on.
Okay, well, we ought to have a heck of a good turnout.
Yeah. And I hope to see you there.
Maybe even the Outhouse Gang will be there. That would be great. I think
great.
maybe we can't intimidate them, but I think the Outhouse Gang might do the job, man, if they show up.
Yeah. All right, Neil, thanks a lot.
Sonny might have to use the facility, you know. Okay, thanks a lot. Well, anyway, we're out of time for this hour, and phones are dropping off to a spotty level at this point. We have 2 open lines in Dade, 751-9463, and 1 line in Broward. Look at that, we got like 4. Well, we got 4 stinking calls on it, is what we got. 524-WIOD in Broward. Boca's open, 278-9463. But anyway, be that as it may, Henry is sitting by with the 11 o'clock WIOD report. And I always like hearing my news from the prone position. It kind of adds a little flavor to it. And we'll come back with hour number 2 at 11:05.
Continues after another news update on News Talk Radio 610, WIOD. Depend on it. In the Palm Beaches. Other areas may call collect. The opinions expressed by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily those of the station. Now, here's Neil Rogers on News Talk Radio 610, WIOD.
Way down south, past Hackensack, there's a town called Tamarack where you live on a cul-de-sac, and to bet you about the boy next door. They all drive for half a mile and they wear that Gucci smile and they stand in line a while waiting on the early bird. Leave Manhattan, the Bronx and Queens, Staten Island too. Leave the Brooklyn Sea, take the tunnel and don't look back. Down the Jersey Turnpike to Tamarack, stroll the malls and the sidewalk sales. Curb your hair as you wrap your nails. Tell your friends you're going to Bloomingdale, and they won't be far behind. Bronx and Queens, Staten Island too. Leave the Brooklyn Sea, take the Toronto, and don't look back. Down the Jersey Turnpike to Tamarack, stroll the malls and the sidewalk sales. Firm your hair as you wrap your nails. Tell your friends you're going to Bloomingdale, and they won't be far behind. Way down south, past Hackensack, there's a town called Tamarack where you live. Cul-de-sac, and to bet you about the boy next door. Way down south, past Hackensack, there's a town called Tamarack. Way down south, past Hackensack, there's a town.
It's 11:07 at WIOD. We have an open line in Dade at 751-9463. In Boca, 278-WIOD. I don't know what Steve's doing today. I don't have any stuff. We got no stuff. But Steve will be here 2 to 6 doing something, and what I'm not sure, but he'll be doing something. Dade County, hello.
Hey, pal.
Yeah.
Neil.
Yeah.
It's DJ.
I don't need a damn history lesson. I need help.
No, I got that help, and I've got a life now. But
well, that's good, boy. Thank God.
Yeah, I know. But, of course, you know I'm a closet listener.
Yeah, we know that.
And I've been listening a lot, and I can't believe what's going on. But I had an idea maybe to send Barbara Kaplan to conduct a vigil outside. You know, she always helps.
Yeah, maybe she could turn the Hallandale City Commission chambers Art Deco. That might do it.
Absolutely. Well, I just wanted to call and let you know that I know you don't want to see my face there, but I'll be there just in support of you.
Oh, we'll see you there. We just don't want to see it here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, good luck, and my face will be shown.
No changes.
No change.
Bye.
Bye.
11:08 at WIOD. We have an open line in Dade, 751-9463. 751-WIOD. Here's a call from the city of choice, Hallandale.
Hello?
Yes.
Neil?
Yeah.
I just wanted to take a minute to, first of all, compliment you on your description of all the people in Hallandale. I work in Hallandale. I really can't say what I do because I'm right on Hallandale Beach Boulevard in a brokerage firm. I'm not going to name any names, though. And I just want to let you know, I think it's incredible. I've been doing it 5 years now, how the people on that South Ocean Drive have so much money. And when you look at it from this end of the business, you wonder how in the world they got it, or how in the world they keep that money, because they really think they just know everything and know nothing. And secondly, if you go back about 6 years ago, when I was back in college, I worked the valet at Gulfstream Racetrack, and I just want to reiterate what you say. When those gates are locked, 10:30 in the morning, those so-called animals are lined up there with their cars, like it's post time for them. You open those gates at 10:45, and they just race up to the valet. I mean, just like a herd of animals. And by the way, I just thought I'd let you know, they really can't take you off the air because the people of Hallandale really won't have a whole lot to complain about.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have anything else going on over there. They've only got, like, mafia people and people getting hit in the middle of the street jaywalking, and nobody can get across the, Hallandale Beach Boulevard, and they got no problems over there.
Yeah, and if you want to retire early, you just go to Hallandale and have your slow death.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Now.
And, of course, the reason I played the Tamarack thing is because we don't want to lose our perspective. It isn't only Hallandale. They seem to be in a class by themselves, but we've also got very large parts of Miami Beach and Tamarack and Sunrise. And, of course, we got that little problem up there in Boca. I don't know what the Boca thing is. That probably will be our next assignment. Because there's Boca, you think, is living and breathing people. I thought Boca was like young families. I was really under that delusion. And then I discovered that a lot of the seniors who move from Miami Beach, their next stopping point on their, while they're in God's waiting room, their next stopping off point is in Boca. So I don't understand that. And guess which is the open line on the board, by the way, in Boca at 278 WIOD. In the meantime, we've got an update on my car, which Sharon by now probably is in the Keys. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Hi.
How you doing?
Okay.
Okay, we found the car.
Great.
It does look like she was looking to hide it and get on a boat and leave.
Yeah, I think so. And if anybody I know could get on a boat and leave, she's the one, because she lives on a boat.
Uh-huh. Well, it's probably not too far from where she lives. This isn't down in Coconut Grove.
Uh-huh.
We're just a little bit south of the City Hall, Miami City Hall, and she hid it in a dumpster holder. It's one of these little enclosed buildings where they store the dumpsters, and that's where she stuck it.
Are you serious?
Certainly I'm serious.
Boy, that's Sharon, man. I'll tell you, she's never going to drive my car again, I'll tell you that. Or any other by the time I get through it.
Neil, there's no problem. The car is in excellent shape. There's no garbage on it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, what I'm doing is I am now placing a pair of handcuffs on her. I don't know if you heard it.
Yes, I did.
Well, we're going to take her in.
No, don't take her in. Take whichever is the biggest dumpster down there and air her out for a little while, okay?
Air her out for a little while.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll probably find some good guests in there for Steve.
Well, she can't hear you right now.
That's good. Okay, so it took, what time did she actually leave?
She left at about 9:45, and I left about 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been out there tracking her, and it took us, I would say, about an hour and 5 minutes, maybe an hour.
Fantastic.
When you think that the average recovery time is an hour and a half, this is good.
Well, it's excellent, especially since she didn't just go a few blocks away from here. She hauled ass and went, all the way to the Grove.
That's true.
As we know she would, yeah. Okay, listen, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you again a little later and get a final wrap-up.
Okie doke.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so in just over an hour, LoJack, they tracked down the car, thank God, and we're all breathing a little easier. And if you want to get more information about it, it really is an incredible device. Call their toll-free number, 1-800-333-6863. 1-800-33-FOUND for the best protection against the theft of your car, LoJack. They're coming. Pretty amazing. 11:16 at WIOD. The Boca light. Can I just check it? Yeah, it's off. Okay, it's dead. No, it's working. Yeah. But it's the only one that's not lit because, now I think, we've really done a number on Hallandale and the beach and Sunrise and Surfside. And some of these other, like Point East and Winmore, and there's so many of these bastions of creeping death. But Boca, there's a thing there that we just can't figure out.
Yeah, I can't believe Rich says, I was being too tough on Boca or something.
No.
Remember he said this morning?
No, being much too nice to Boca. They'll be next. Then the Boca City Commission can pass a resolution. Let's get that nasty Neil off the air. Okay.
I bet they have better things to do.
No, I don't think so. A lot of plastic people up there in Boca, too, by the way. If we ever have, like, a good day when it gets over 100 in the summertime, like about 102, I'm serious. Those bastards will melt up there. Here's a mobile in Broward. Hello.
Neil?
Yes, sir.
Neil, I live in Hallandale.
You don't sound mobile. This is a very good connection.
Yeah, I have a question to ask you.
I don't think it's a mobile.
Neil?
Yeah.
I have a question to ask you. Why do you continue to pick on the people in Hallandale?
Oh, why do I pick on them?
Yeah, in other words...
Sir, let me say this to you. For the last... we've been here 3 months. We rarely were talking about Hallandale. We have this little comedy thing, the Hallandale Vice thing we play.
You play that Hallandale music.
You want an answer to your question?
Okay.
First of all, when you say pick on, that's a rather juvenile approach to life. Okay, why do we pick on him? That sounds like something a little third-grade kid might say. There is a situation that exists in Hallandale, which is, in one case, sad, but another way, if you look at it from a satirical way, can be funny. But we don't ordinarily talk about Hallandale anymore. We do about Tamarack or Boca or any place else. But the City Commission decided unilaterally last Tuesday that they were going to go ahead and pass this resolution based on the rantings of one individual and based on Sonny Rosenberg's prejudice to try to deprive me of a livelihood in this station of existing. Okay? That's why we're talking about Hallandale.
Yeah,
but even assuming that they didn't do it, what difference does it make? Hallandale is a horrible place.
All right, could I say something now?
I'm listening, sir.
Okay.
This is not a mobile phone, by the way.
You say it's a horrible...
Let me say it again. It's not a mobile phone. Why you told Nick that, I don't know, but I guess little white lies,
You say it's a horrible
See,
place.
why is it you're not responding to that, sir?
Never.
Why is it
Not
you
one
pretend like
time.
you've got a hearing problem? Why did you tell Nick you're on a mobile phone?
I am on a mobile phone.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Beep
Let's
your
hear the
horn.
horn.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Let's hear the horn.
All right, you hear it?
No.
No.
In other words...
Sir, get out of here, you creep. Yeah, do you hear it? Yeah, we don't hear a damn thing, okay? He's got a silent horn. It's a new invention in Hallandale. We don't want to wake up the living dead, so we have a new kind of horn. It doesn't make any sound, okay? It affects their pacemakers, all right? You press the horn, and immediately there's something in their pacemaker that tells them, uh-oh, there's a problem. Look around. Get out of here, you jerk. He reminds me of that guy. I was so tempted to call in when Steve yesterday had this guy, the one who used to sing when we were on Winds in the daytime. He can dish it out, but he can't. From Hallandale.
Yeah.
And he was calling, and he did it. And Steve, it was great, because Steve let him go on. He had no material, and he thought Steve would hang up in about 5 seconds. Oh, Steve, why do you get so bent out of shape? And Steve let him go, and he had nothing to say. Nothing to say. Steve, how come, Steve? And another one from Hallandale. I mean, pal, listen, if you don't know why we talk about Hallandale, then you're in a dream world, okay? It's because of liars like you. Oh, yeah, you hear my horn? No, I must be getting deaf. He was on a mobile phone like I'm a brain surgeon, okay? Why you pick on us? Man, why don't you grow up? Some of you people out there who have lived for 65, 70, 80 years and more and behave like 2, 3-year-old children.
They're picking, Johnny's picking on me.
Oh, my God.
How come they pick on
Yeah, I remember when Dick Purton in Detroit, Joey talked about him yesterday, he's a great talent. He's just, monster in that market, kind of like Larry Kent is in this one. And he did a thing called Hamtramck Mama. Now, Hamtramck is a Detroit suburb where there are a lot of Polish people who live, and it was a song parody, and it talked about, people in Hamtramck going bowling every night with white socks and all kinds. It was a hysterical thing. And yes, I will grant you that there were some old farts, some sour people in Hamtramck who got all bent out of shape. And guess what? They never took it off the air, and they never took Dick Purton off the air, and they didn't take away the license of any of the stations he worked at, and nobody, passed any resolutions. There were a few sour pussies who didn't have a sense of humor, but life went on, okay? Just like it's going to go on here. That may come as a shock to some out there, but the life goes on. Why are you picking on us? I mean, grow up. Don't you understand? If you don't like what we do on the show, if you don't have a sense of humor, if you're so uptight about life, go someplace else, okay? Don't try to tell me what to say or what to talk about, because it's not going to work, okay? It's never going to work. And I got news for you. As long as I'm breathing, There will be a station in this market that's going to hire me and going to put me on the air and going to take in all the revenue that this show attracts and going to have all of the listeners that this program attracts. It's going to happen, okay? So you can keep kvetching and you can keep having meetings and you can keep carrying on like a bunch of children. It isn't going to do anything, okay? It's not going to happen.
Well, it's going to make the ratings even bigger.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to get a lot more publicity. We've been in the newspapers every day this week, which is not the way, quite frankly. I'm interested in being in a newspaper. But if that's, if that's what you want to do, more publicity. Absolutely free.
It works beautifully.
Couldn't buy it for $1 million, Sonny. Good old Sonny Rosenberg.
God.
Just when you need a little bit of push and let people know where you are, there's Sonny Rosenberg to do you a good favor, okay? Do a good deed for you.
What a guy.
Yeah, what a hell of a guy, okay? Great American. Is that a mobile? Is that a new mobile, or is that not our friend again, huh? 'Cause that was one of the best mobile calls. The connection was so clear, you know?
I never heard one like it.
And that horn, boy, I wish I had a horn like that. It's painless. I mean, nobody's ever going to get upset about that. See, a lot of times you're afraid to honk your horn because people in this town, they get uptight, they pull out a gun, they shoot you if you blow the horn. When you got a silent horn like that, man, there's no problem. It doesn't make any sound at all. It was great. Here's a mobile, a real one in Broward.
This is a real mobile.
Well, now you notice the difference, yeah.
Yeah, because it's crackling and breaking. Let me get out of these wires over here. Hold on, I'm making a wrong turn.
Get out of those wires, sir. Try to extricate yourself.
I just wanted to make a point I thought you might appreciate. See, I don't always agree with you, and I very often holler back at the radio when you say things that I don't agree with. But the point is, I like you on, you know, and I listen to you. It's not radio accident or anything. And the other thing that I wanted to say was that these people that are the barbarians, these oldies, they don't become that way when they turn old. They usually were young asses, and now they're becoming old smacked asses. And, you know,
I've often said Hallandale is like a movie, and when people ask me which movie, I say Conan and the Barbarians without Conan.
Absolutely true. And the thing is, I've always felt that people never really get, they don't change. They just get better at what they do. So if they are douchebags, they get to be bigger and better douchebags.
See, let me explain something to you. When you go to New York, now New York's got a lot of problems and a lot of crime and a lot of poverty, but the living and breathing, the vibrant people in New York are not people who are waiting to die. They're people who, you know, go to sporting events and go to Broadway shows and go to all kinds of activities that are going on. They're alive. The people that came here from the Northeast, an awful lot of them are people who left there because they didn't fit in with that. In other words, they were prunes even when they were young, and they'd much rather live in this closed kind of condo mentality where they can isolate themselves and just kind of vegetate, and they want everybody else to suffer along with them. That's why they try to destroy everything else that people love, like this show, because they want everybody to be as miserable as they are.
Well, then basically what you're saying is that we're specializing in douche over here.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, that's all I wanted to say.
And by the way, our good friend at Channel 10, Alan Massingale, sends his regards. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, okay. Take care now. Bye.
24 past 11 at WIOD. We have an open line in Broward, 524-9463. Lots of people must have seen Morton Downey last night because we haven't had a single call on that show. Joey came out here just to promote that appearance, which he was on for less than 2 minutes, and we haven't had a stinking call on that show, which we talked about for half an hour. Anyway, you love delicious Thai food. The place to find it is WIOD. Well, it's 27 after 11 at WIOD on a wonderful, I can't believe it's Friday.
Can you believe it?
I'm not complaining, but I just can't believe it. It just was such a quick week,
Quite
with
a
all the
week,
excitement
too.
and everything else going on.
Yeah, a lot went on this week.
And we thank
Incredible.
everybody for the letters and the faxes. The faxes continue pouring in. And if you want to send us a little letter of support on the fax machine and you enjoy what we do, or even if you don't enjoy what we do but you believe in something like freedom of speech, the number on the fax machine at IOD is 757-7516. 757-7516. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Good morning, Neil.
Hi, how you doing?
Good morning, Bert.
Hi.
Listen, I just got a question. That one that the parody that you all do on Hallandale from Jimmy Buffett,
Yeah.
is that available to the public?
I wish it were. You know, that was that's a copyrighted song, and I still don't know who did it, but Marlon Bailey gave it to us 2 years ago. I have a gold record at home for that record, but it's not in the stores now.
No, because I was working on the roof the other day with the radio on. You guys were playing that. There was about 3 or 4 old folks sitting around laughing at it.
How about that?
And then when I came down, they started bitching, saying I should turn the radio down because it was too loud. And between the three of them, it must have been like 400 years in all of them.
Yeah.
So, well, you guys have a good day then.
They love it. They just don't want to admit it, okay?
Yeah, one more thing. I'm going on I-95. I'm going south. I'm in Atlantic. Is Griffin Road south of Atlantic or north?
Is what?
Is Griffin Road.
South of it. Griffin Road is nowhere. You're in Pompano, pal.
Yeah, but I want to get off on Griffin.
Well, Griffin Road is like between Fort Lauderdale and Hollywood. It's right after the State Road 84 exit.
So I'm going right. I'm going south.
I hope so. Where are you? Where do you live?
In Miami.
Oh, in Miami. Well, you're lost. Okay, just keep going south, and right after the State Road, you'll get to Sunrise and Broward Boulevard, and then the next one is Davie, and then State Road 84. Right after that is Griffin Road. There's a big Sheraton Hotel there.
All right.
Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you, buddy.
Get lost, call us back. Okay, it's 11. Boy, I can't believe that. Well, where did that come from, huh? Well, let these fakers wait a little while. Okay, it's 11:30 on 610 WIOD. It's number one again.
Coming up cheesecake, it's making my knees shake. All of the old folks up at the mall, they're checking the CDs. No, they never say please. Just waiting for the early bird special to call. Wasting away again in good old Hallandale. Searching for the false teeth they left in a glass. And Hallandale they claim that there's a dark horse to blame, but they know it's their own damn fault. Shoving in line to get the early bird on time. They're pushing just as hard as they can. And once they are seated, they get overheated and start stuffing rolls and sweet and low in their bags. Wasting away again in good old Hallandale, looking for that long lost fountain of youth. And Hallandale they say that it's a bowl of prunes a day, but for some, an enema in the blues. The old folks don't know the reason why nothing is pleasing. Their muscles ache and their teeth just don't fit. But what does it matter when they call up Neil and chatter? I hate you, Neil, and never listen to your show. Wasting away again in good old Hallandale. Just a box of Metamucil and a radio. In Hallandale they claim that it's a dark horse to blame, but Neil knows they can't wait for his show. Hallandale they claim that it's a dark horse to blame, but Neil knows they just can't wait for his show.
$11:34 on 610 WIOD. Boy, does that bring back some memories, huh?
Doesn't it?
And it's like Desi Rue, as Jerry Wichner would say. Desi Rue. We're going through the whole Hallandale thing all over again, which is just, of course, a tiny little part of this whole nonsense that's been going on, but it's really amazing that what goes around does come around. As a great radio philosopher once said on the Steve Kane Show, well, many times said on the Steve Kane Show. Anyway, let's tell you about our good friends over at Toyota of Hollywood, where you're going to get one whale of a deal, man. Acres and acres of automobiles. In fact, their lot spans over 8 acres between Taft and Sheridan Streets in Hollywood. Now, don't get confused, because on the one side, it would be the west side of 441 is the used. It does make me a little bit nervous when I watch the behavior in the audience, because I know that they goose them and they coach them before the show, and it's all, it's contrived. But even so, when you see the way that they just respond on cue, I mean, what would it take you to sit in the audience of a show and on cue go, make guttural barnyard sounds and behave like you're just an absolute Neanderthal moron, Of course, some of those people I don't think have to act in that audience. But anyway, now we do have somebody. By the way, the Palm Beach line's open. I just mentioned that. That's the one open line. I don't know why I bothered to mention it. At 655-9463. 655-WIOD. It's kind of like the Scourge. And, of course, when I rattled off all of those places before Boca and Tamarack and Sunrise and Hallandale, I left out Palm Beach. I guess we could probably use the whole county, right? Palm Beach County in general, not just pick on Boca. Mm-hmm. Here is somebody in Broward who saw the show.
Dale?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Morton Downey show. I seen Steve and Joey on TV, and there ain't no way you can tell me that Steve is older than Joey.
Well, Joey has got this thing about his age, man. He says he's 48, but I still think he left one number off at the beginning of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but he does look good for a guy. I'll tell you the reason I know that he's older than that, and I'm sure he's listening. He'll probably get all bent out of shape. But the reason I know he's older than that is because when I was a kid growing up in upstate New York, Joey was on WKBW in Buffalo, and he was like 100 then. Okay, he was like 100 years old then.
Yeah.
Now that was like almost 30 years ago. So if he ain't 130. So maybe he's 148. See, he says he's 48, but he could be 148, and I'll be honest with you, he looks pretty damn good for a guy that age.
Yeah, I told the guy there on the phone that I was on a mobile, and I thought I'd get on quicker than this.
Now, Nick likes those guys with the silent horns like that guy in Hallandale.
You want to hear my horn?
Yeah. Okay, this guy's also on a horn, right? I can't say which kind. It's 11:40 at WIOD. We have an opening in Broward, 524-9463. 524 WIOD. Now, see, you notice he said he watched Morton Downey last night. There's the kind of guy you'll find in the audience, okay? That's why this guy related to it.
Yeah.
Because he's the perfect kind of guy you'd find in a Wart's audience. Anyway, Mort made somewhere between 20 and 40 million. We haven't got the exact figures in front of us yet, but, boy, that's astonishing.
Joey did tell us some good stories about old Doc Downey, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
About his teeth?
Yeah.
Miami, hello.
Hello. Hey, Neil, I just thought you can always take your cordless phone, or the audience could, go out to their carport, sit in their car, and beep the horn. They're not a mobile, but they'll get the same consideration.
That's correct. They'll get on immediately, if not sooner. And at least they'll have a horn, unlike that guy in Broward who's still looking for his.
I probably should. I also saw the Morton Downey show. I missed the first 20 minutes of it last night, but the audience really ruins it because it's like it could be anything going on the stage. Their reactions are just.
The interesting thing of it is when you watch the show, if you keep your eye, like when they have people like Joey was out at the podium, and when they show shots where you can see the audience in the background.
They're looking at the monitors.
Yeah, they're looking around. They're not doing anything at all. They're not really even paying any attention to what's being discussed. And then as soon as the cue comes, as soon as Mort gives them those, trigger phrases.
They get their eyes to one side, wait for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I can't stand watching an artificial birth on television where the people are watching the birth, and it's like the same thing. They're not really reacting to what's happening. It's all, it's all put up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I called because, I've been pretty upset because I've been looking in my Miami Herald all week, and I never see anything in there. I hear about you referring to articles, and they're all in the Broward section, apparently, and they don't want the people in Miami to see it.
Well, I thought there was some little blurb in the date section. There is Sharon is back with LoJack people. They got her handcuffed, and she's got stripes on. Good.
Yeah,
she finally got out of that dumpster, huh?
There was just a small article in the Dade section.
Yeah, there was just a little thing in the Dade section.
They told me they would send them to me, but I told them I think that a major part of your audience is in Dade, and there's thousands of people who would like to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to call them back later because apparently there was no one who could actually take my complaint.
Really?
And yeah, and I think maybe your
Well, there's
friend...
probably nobody who could speak English over there in the Dade edition, you know.
Well, I think maybe your friend, I don't know if you don't want to use his name, Jack, maybe that sound effect you have would be sufficient whenever you want to refer to his name, because that sounds like a colonic orifice too, doesn't it?
Have a wonderful day. In closing, let me just say, okay, it's 11:43, 17 till noon at WIOD. Okay, Sharon is back. They got the handcuffs off finally, and that'll teach her a thing or two, right? Yeah, seriously, she was on her way to the Keys.
Yeah.
She had her knapsack and a suitcase. I got a little paranoid when I saw that, but she's back. Oh, you still have him on. That's good. Well, Steve gave him instructions. Don't take him off till you start booking some heavy-duty guests, okay? Just remember, you're Steve's producer, not my producer.
It's going to change.
And you don't have time to be messing around with stuff like that. Thanks very much. You guys are incredible. In just over an hour, they tracked down the car. Now, get busy, Sharon. Get some work done.
Can I do one thing?
What's that?
I'd like to thank Ernie over at Meisner Marine. He's the superintendent of the Dinner Key Project, and he found me a very neat spot, so that's where I hit it.
No, you can't. Okay, we got a mobile who saw Wart last night. Hello.
Neil.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I saw...
well, that's a matter of opinion, sir.
I saw the show last night, and...
and you're still okay, huh?
I guess so. You know, Joey looked a little sweaty, a little dumpy, but, you know, he had a nice outfit on, but he looked a little dumpy, a little nervous.
Yeah. Well, the guy from San Diego was so nervous, I thought he was going to fall on the floor. He was shaking.
When he asked him to go into the audience with the mic and do his bit in the audience, I thought he was going to drop dead. I thought he was going to start to hyperventilate.
Yeah, it was almost like it was like something that a teacher would ask you to do in school. You know, go up before the class, and I don't like that kind of stuff. You know, go do your act. I mean, that's just a lot of crap. You know, how can you do your radio show in a television audience?
He made it virtually impossible for him to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, Joe, I used to listen to Joey every now and then, and I thought he was pretty funny. But last night, you know, Mort gives nobody a chance to say anything.
Yeah, well, that's the thing of the whole show. That's the concept, is that everybody talks at the same time. Everybody's in a verbal brawl. And the thing that really got me, now, they had the newswoman on. This is what really killed me. They had this very intellectual news lady from some station in Houston.
She was way out of place.
With the glasses, and she's going on about how reporting the news and so on. And she's ripping Geraldo, who deserves to be ripped to shreds. And she's talking about the brawl he had on with the skinheads and the Nazis and the young people and Geraldo's nose getting broken. And I'm thinking to myself, here she's on Morton Downey's show talking about this kind of stuff. And he's the one who started it. He's the one who started all that fistfight with, what's the guy's name? It was Sharpton, Al Sharpton.
Sure.
And twice it's happened on that show. And, of course, now the new thing is the confrontation where they get in each other's faces and they're threatening to have a violent fistfight. I mean, here she's sitting there on that show and she's criticizing Geraldo for something that Mort does all the time.
You know,
somebody should have punched her in the mouth for it.
When I saw her at first and she first started to speak, she sounded rather intelligent. And I said to myself, don't get sucked into this. He's going to turn this into a confrontation.
Yeah.
It didn't happen, but I thought that's what was going to happen.
It could have. If the guy from San Diego hadn't been so nervous, it could have happened.
Exactly. Hey, Neil, where's Flores, by the way?
It's on 79th Street, just a few blocks east of Biscayne.
East of Biscayne. Okay,
Yeah.
By the way, I tried the armadillo, man. That was great.
Oh, yeah, God, is that good
we
stuff?
walked in there, my wife and I, at 6:30 on a Friday night. We wanted to go out early because we didn't have a babysitter who could stay late. And we walked in, there was nobody in the place. And the guy says, I can't seat you. I looked at him like he was nuts. But, of course, they finally found a place for us, and it was just fantastic.
Why did he say couldn't seat you?
He said he had reservations for the night, and he was basically all booked up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a good idea to make reservations there because since we've made them popular, man, they're just always booked up. Yeah.
I got to tell you, we told everybody about the place. It was fantastic. I'm going to try that Taft Street rotisserie takeout tonight.
The best.
Your suggestions are great.
Okay, thanks a lot.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
11:47 at WIOD. There's an opening in Broward, 524-9463. The Palm Beach line is still dormant, but I'm not. Listen, I mean, you know, if you don't learn after a while, right? How long does it take anybody to learn? Speaking of good food and some of our sponsors, here's a great Valentine's Day idea, and that is to get over to Shell's, okay? There are 5 South Florida locations, but that makes too much sense. Anyway, it's 11:51, 9 minutes till noon at WIOD. I think we're going to start doing that all the time. We'll come back in the middle of a sentence. Well, it's kind of like Morton Downey last night where they were... I'm telling you, man, I have never in my life seen a show where they bleeped out so much. There was a period of time there where they were, like, every third or fourth word was they were getting really hot and heavy.
Yeah.
And these two characters from Houston...
Yeah, their skit was really good. Didn't it come over
the skit
good?
never got on, not 1 second of it. And I wondered what the heck just happened, you know, and then I realized, and we forgot to mention this, the PD from the Chicago television station that carries Morton Downey was in the audience, and he got up and he says, we're not going to carry this episode of your show. we can't put this on the air because of what these two guys just did. And they were doing on his show what they do on the radio.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I keep repeating this, so that you understand what contemporary broadcast standards are. They are so far and above anything you'll ever hear in this market, and especially ever hear on this show. And that's why these self-appointed censors who think they got some idea of what broadcast standards are in FCC law, they don't know their armpit from their elbow, okay? They haven't got a clue. Miami, hello.
Neil?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good day.
Let me start by saying that I've advertised with you in the past, and you have an excellent station and program. The reason I'm calling is to comment both on the pros and cons of the LoJack system, which was just tested on your vehicle.
Well, listen, if you're a sponsor, past or present, you know we don't discuss sponsors on the air. So when you say the pros and cons, I just can't discuss it on the air. I just can't do that. I mean, you know, each person is entitled to their opinion, but I just can't get into that kind of a discussion.
Well, can we offer a challenge then for the con part?
No, I don't want to get into any con part, because just like you were, if you were advertising, they're paying good money to advertise, and you know they're not deceiving anybody. They're going to give people all the information they want, or answer their questions. So I don't really want to get into a discussion of it. It's 11:53 at WIOD. We have an open line in date. And, you know, I'm a little leery of that call, because anybody who's ever been a sponsor knows that we don't allow people to discuss. I mean, if somebody wants to say, hey, we went to such and such restaurant, it was a great meal, that's fine. But we don't allow cons about our sponsors on the air, and he should know that. Let's go to Hollywood. Hello. Long gone. Okay, Coral Springs. Hello. Okay, now why are we on a run all of a sudden? Nobody on these stinking lines. We have an open line in Broward, 524-9463. North Miami on 7.
Sounds
Hello.
weird.
Hello. Now, all of a sudden we were doing a radio show just fine. There were no problem. Now it's like everybody has disappeared. We're hearing strange sounds on the phone. Am I losing my mind, or is it not me?
That one sounded weird when you punched.
Yeah, there was a hollow sound.
Yeah.
Miami, hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Huh. Neil?
Are you really there, sir? Is this a real call?
So.
Okay.
I've just been on hold so long, I really didn't know the difference. I'm calling about an ad, actually a little section in the Miami Hurricane that I picked up about Thompson.
What about it, sir?
Well, he's coming over the hurricane, putting your show down and putting
You're talking about a letter to the editor?
No, it's on the front page of the Hurricane.
On the front page?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's lawyer wants UM to pull ads.
Mm-hmm. First of all, I spoke. Now, who's the person that wrote the article, okay?
Mark Theroff.
Yeah, I spoke to that person the other day. I tried to explain to him. He was referring to so-called ads for Hurricane Baseball that appear in the show. There are no ads. There are promos, which are free of charge because this station carries Hurricane Baseball. And I explained that to this individual, but I don't think he understands anything about this business. In addition to which, Ron Fraser called us on opening day of baseball season last Friday, had a great conversation with me. Ron's a big fan of mine in the show, just like I'm a big fan of his. And I guarantee you that if there were paid commercials for Hurricane Baseball, Ron would be the first one to want them on his show.
Right. Well, he's putting Thomas. Where does Thomason get the right to dispute Miami's position? The University of Miami.
He has the right to say anything he wants as long as it's not slanderous or untruthful or twisted or manipulated, but the bottom line is why it's being made a big song and a dance over there.
Right.
I don't know. They must have nothing else of importance at the university to talk about because, again, they're making it into something much bigger than it is. This individual has been attempting, I have copies of letters he's written to Sam Jankovic, to Tim Robbie with the Dolphins, to Tad Foote, the president of the university, again. Sticking his nose into things that are absolutely none of his business. The university, just like anybody else that spends money or has business relationships, has a right to do that based on their own decisions without any help from our friend.
Right. He's trying to make it that the students hate your show and hate Steve's show. Are you kidding? Everybody who listens to your show loves you and are fans.
Hey, that's not relevant. If everybody at the university hated the show, they have a right to, we carry all the UM sports on this station, and we'll continue to do so. Sonny and Joe do a great job with the games, and, and life goes on, and the university is tickled to death with it. Huh?
Thompson's trying to...
Well, I am aware of that, sir, but I'm trying to explain to you that one man doesn't dictate what everybody else is going to do. You know, he made that comment in the article that was in yesterday's Hallandale Digest about he keeps contacting the sponsors and he just doesn't understand. They keep advertising on the station. Well, here we've got an individual who doesn't understand that every time he tells somebody something, they're not going... The world doesn't operate based on what he says, including this program and this radio station and our sponsors and the University of Miami or anybody else. And the only time anybody does respond to it is when they've already got an axe to grind, like Sonny Rosenberg in Hallandale. So I wouldn't lose a lot of sleep over it.
Good.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Neil.
I mean, the university line, I'm not going to retract anything I've said about the U of M. It's like an island. I've said that for ever since I've been in this market. The University of Miami is one of the most peculiar places I've ever encountered as far as a university. It's like not even a part. It's like it's not connected to any other part of this community in any way, shape, or form. And that's unfortunate. That isn't to say that there aren't any good people over there or that I don't like the university, but it just happens to be a fact. And if I say that I don't care for the football program or Coach Johnson, I'm entitled to say that. You see, because I said that, also letters were sent over there, and, oh, he can't say these things, and blah. I hate to break the news to you. You see, it doesn't have anything to do with the content of the programming being sexual or this or that. It has to do with the fact that I can't say anything that this individual doesn't approve of in his own mind. And if I want to criticize the university football program, if I want to criticize Don Shula, if I want to criticize Joe Robbie, I have just as much right to do that as anybody else does. So, you know, when you see this pattern of things that go on, it makes it clear it isn't just a question of whether some material we play on the air is tasteless or whatever the allegations about senior citizens. It's anything. I mean, you name it. Whether we're talking about dog food, about U of M football, about anything I can think of.
I don't
Whether
like
we're talking about the lottery.
Rebecca
The lottery,
Paul.
Rebecca Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, anybody who can't see through this transparent window of what this really is, a malicious, hateful, outrageous campaign to deprive me of a right to earn a living and to get me off the air on now 3 consecutive radio stations. If you can't see it, then you're blind. Okay? I mean, it goes from even listeners like that poor lady in the church who had the audacity to call in on the air, say she and her pastor enjoy the show, and when she identified the church, as soon as I hung up with her, bingo, there goes her phone. And it was only when she threatened to call a state attorney's office and press charges for harassment on the phone that all of a sudden these phone calls stopped. And I have letters from her to back it up. But anyway, be that as it may, we're out of time for this hour. And April's standing by with the 12 o'clock WIOD News. We'll come back for hour number 3 at 12:05. Steve from 2 to 6. Sports Talk at 6:05. And I think it's Hurricane Baseball tonight, right? 7:30 from ArcLight Stadium.
WIOD.
The WIOD. Now, what are you doing this afternoon? We got a guest? Do you believe him? He is
I talked to him also.
Open phones on with Steve.
Nothing.
Okay, we're trying to promote him, and he's sitting here just glued to some nonsense he's reading. Anyway, speaking of nonsense, here is a great note again from our friend Adam in Hollywood, who writes, Dear broadcaster, Neely, I've noticed that both you and your show have not been using the word grotesque as often as you used to. Would you please start using grotesque or an alternative such as repulsive or slimish? Neil, I'm surprised at you starting to slack off. Here's hoping you have a grotesque day with the slimish bird. Grotesquely yours, Adam Stein and family. P.S. Do you know how to say grotesque in Hebrew? I haven't a clue. The last sentence there is probably the tip-off on Adam. He hasn't a clue. I think it probably says it better than anything, okay? It's 12:07 at WIOD. The Palm Beach line continues to be the one dormant line on the board, and we love it, man. We are really ecstatic about it. 655-9463. 655 WIOD. We got a great stack of mail today, and Mr. Disney, we understand, is drowning in a sea of mail, and we thank everybody for it. But don't become smug and complacent, okay? Because that would be really grotesque if you did that.
Yeah,
right?
We need your support letters.
Yeah, we want those letters of support. And, boy, look at this. It just keeps on coming. If there was money in every one of these, then we would be happy to get off the air, okay? If there was enough. Okay, let's go to Miami. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay.
I think Shavuos is grotesque in Hebrew.
Yeah, Shavuos can be grotesque, yeah.
It's one of those things. Anyway.
Although Tisha B'Av is grotesque to me.
I used to be Sonny Rosenberg's old next-door neighbor when he lived in the back of Golden Island.
Wait a minute. Let's rephrase the way you said that, because I don't think Sonny could have an old next-door neighbor.
Yeah, actually, my family lived next to him. I was in about the 8th grade at the time, and I just wanted to tell Sonny that he was listening, that it was me and my punk friends who always used to steal his son Tatler before he could get at it. You know, he used to come out and yell at us because he was the only one in the whole street to hire other people to come and rake his leaves. So they'd be nice, nice packages and everything like that. We'd ride our bikes through because he was such a mean old man, you know. But I thought I'd like
one of my favorites, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and all those times my parents would tell me and my friends to stop making noise because Mr. Rosenberg's getting mad. I'm glad we never listened to him.
Congratulations, sir, for a great pubic service.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
12:08 at WIOD. We have an open line in Dade, 751-94. What am I opening this mail for? I'm never going to get to all of it during the show.
Too much.
Although it does make a lot of good noise, though. I like that. We got a mobile, what is that, on the Palm Beach line?
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
nobody on there.
You're right.
There ain't nobody on there. They disappeared. Well, that goes to show you what kind of a line that is, okay? Must be something really, hot about that line. Like when you call in, it makes your phone fry or something. It's kind of like the Ted Bundy line, I guess. Miami, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
Well, I just wanted to, I got a good point and a bad point I want to say. First of all, I like your show, and I do think you're getting harassed, and, especially that Hallandale thing. But, you think everyone is homophobic. Perhaps you're just being a little homo-paranoid.
Oh, really?
I mean, you're seeing people attacking you, and you think that it's just, maybe one of the main reasons is because,
Well, sir, when I've been involved in it for 19 months, and when almost every letter that this individual sends out contains lines about my trolling for sex from teenage boys on the air, I think I have a pretty good idea of where this individual's coming from, okay? Although, evidently, you're an expert on the whole situation, right?
No, not an expert at all. I'm just saying, maybe he's just using this. Maybe he really doesn't even care that you're a homosexual.
No, I disagree with you wholeheartedly, okay? Because if it weren't for that, there wouldn't be any campaign, and none of this would have ever happened. I can assure you. Go to the bank on it.
Well, I don't know, because I personally, I don't really care very much for homosexuals. But
really?
Yeah, it's just, some people just don't. I mean,
So then why are you listening to the show?
Because I think you're a funny man.
Oh, I see. Then what difference does it make to you what other people are doing in their bedroom? Why is that of any interest to you?
It isn't, actually. But
okay. Well, that's a good way to end the call, I think. 10 minutes past 12 at WIOD. We have an open line in Dade, 751-9463. 751-WIOD.
The calls so far this hour have been unbelievable.
Incredible.
Really something.
Look at this. Here's a article by Jeff Lemlich.
Jeffrey?
Do you know who that is?
No.
Oh, yeah. He used to be a board op at W Snooze.
Oh.
Through the Past Smartly. It's an article about South Florida radio days. And it goes on about the old days of South Florida rock radio, and including WCKR, which this station used to be many years ago, Rick Shaw, Biggie Nevins, Buddy Holliday. And it says, that cleared the way for the brand new WFUN to debut at 790 on the dial. Pete Connors, Frank Ward, Jim Tucker, Gary Stevens, Bill Dean, Johnny Gilbert, and Danny Dark.
Danny Dark?
Yeah.
I don't know Danny.
I think he means Johnny Dark.
He wasn't at FUN.
Oh, he wasn't? Mm-mm. The writer of the letter thought he might have meant
Danny
Johnny Dark.
Probably same family.
Danny's probably in the dark. Okay, it's 12 minutes past noon. We have an opening on Palm Beach, which continues. Can we just check that line one time?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a dial tone, but you never know. Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, I feel a lot more comfortable about Palm Beach.
Do you even give that out, Steve? Do you even give out Palm Beach number?
Can I do,
yeah.
Can I do my spot?
For?
Toyota of Hollywood?
Oh, yeah.
And I want to refer again to that brilliant call that Steve had yesterday from the young guy who is driving his pickup truck. I hope he has a real good time with his pickup truck out there today. And he was talking about how the Toyota is a woman's car and it has smooth lines. I mean, this kid really, I understand how it is to be jealous, okay? You can't afford a Supra. You can't even probably afford a Corolla, kid. So continue driving your pickup truck, and when you grow up and get to be a real human being, you can go over there and afford one of those hot, new, beautiful 89 Toyotas like that great Celica convertible that Steve bought Lori, or that Super Turbo, which I'm driving, which is a beautiful automobile with all the extras. I mean, it's so luxurious that it's incredible, okay? I don't want to start laying it on, pal, but that's the way it goes. And I park it right next to my Corvette, kid, so it's really tremendous. But anyway, if you want a sensational deal, great selection, and super people, I mean, people who are so nice, you're going to just freak out. You'll say, this can't be an auto dealership. I got to be dreaming. They really are tremendous folks to do business with at Toyota of Hollywood, 441 between Taft and Sheridan Streets in Hollywood. This again, man, I'll tell you, this Steve, it just...
Now, you see this light?
When he gets into business, man, he's really going to be dangerous. On the air, that was good. Now, see, in fact, that fits in with our new format. We're going to come back after each break and be in the middle of a sentence. And it freaks the audience out because then they wonder what they missed, okay? It's kind of like last night, Morton Downey's show where everything was bleeped out. I'm serious. I've never in my life seen a show. It got to the point where, like, for about a 5-minute period, every third or fourth word was bleep, bleep. You know, there was just silence there. And you knew, and you could see some of the words they were saying formed with the lips, you know?
Oh, sure.
As in prick your finger, things like that. Exactly. It was shocking to me. But then again, I don't live in a major metropolitan market like Houston or Dallas because they're so sophisticated over there. Okay, let's move right along here to another sophisticated community, Sunrise. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Okay.
Neil, I'm a former Rochesterian.
I'll be darned.
And I had my daughter here the last 3 weeks. And she saw your picture either on television or in a paper.
Yeah.
And she says, I know that guy.
Really?
Yeah, she says, I went to school with him at Brighton High.
No, well, I didn't go to Brighton High. I went to Brighton Elementary.
Well, that's what she said, Brighton. And she used to see around Verena Drive. Did you live around there?
Verena Drive. I lived on Verena Drive. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What's her name?
Marcia Cohn.
Ah! I can't believe this, boy. That is incredible. That's a long time ago, boy. It's like from another lifetime.
Yeah, she said she used to see it down in Bob in the Crossroad.
Yeah.
And the other day you were talking about baseball.
Yes,
that
sir.
you used to broadcast baseball from Miami University.
Right, for 6 years. Mm-hmm.
Well, Mel, what's the great...
Mel Allen.
Mel Allen said the best radio broadcaster for baseball was a fellow by the name of Gunnar Wig. You ever heard Gunnar Wig?
No, I've heard the name, but that's before I was born.
He was in Rochester.
Really?
WHAM.
Yeah.
He was the best there ever was.
You remember Tom Decker?
Yes.
And you know Jack Buck used to work in Rochester, too, did the Red Wing games.
Yeah. Tom Decker, he was through with TV about 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, he's working somewhere else now, I think.
Is he really? He's a good-looking guy.
He's a nice guy.
Athletic. And have you been to Berth Cottage?
Sure.
On Elmwood Avenue?
Yes, I have.
And we used to be member there.
I was bar mitzvah at Temple Beth Sholem, which I'm sure everybody's excited about.
That's on Monroe Avenue.
That is correct.
Yeah. And I've been to temples around here, but there isn't any temple around here that compares to Berth Cottage.
Well, let me say this. It would be a big help if they'd stop letting the Goyim into temple here, you know? There's just too many Goyim coming to
That's the whole
temple.
thing.
Yeah. If they let a few Jews into temple, it might be a little more uplifting, you know?
I suppose so.
I mean, when they bring out the holy water and the cross, that's when I just can't deal with that, you know. But listen, it's great hearing from you, and give my regards to Marcia. That's tremendous.
Yes. And, I have more to say, but I'll call you later.
Okay, drop me a note sometime. I'd love to get in touch with you. Drop me a card or a letter.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's incredible. Now, just the other day, I had a long hour chat at home with my friend Bob Perlman from Michigan State from
God
years
it was
ago.
at home.
Oh, now, see, here we go again. Okay, now, some schmerl, some redneck from Lakeland called it. Oh, hey, buddy.
I never
Let's talk
do
about
that.
ABC Liquors.
Never.
But if I get somebody from Rochester or Michigan State who calls in
You
right away...
are so full of it.
Let me
If
just
you
say,
listen to
let
the
me say this to
balance.
you, okay? Let me say this to you. In all sincerity, the last time I checked, the name of the show was the Neil Rogers Show, okay? Now, I was born and raised in upstate New York. It's one of my great interests. I went to school at Michigan State. Well, I didn't really go to school because I never went to class, but I attended briefly Michigan State for a couple of years, and I worked in Michigan for 12 years. Those are two important parts of my life. Now, when it becomes the Glen Hill Show, at that point, we can talk about Lakeland at great length. We can even invite Captain Dave over to talk about Milton, which I think we could probably do, 4 or 5 minutes on that.
I don't do it. Don't you think I would be interested?
You think I straightened him out?
Don't you think I would be interested?
You have to. See, you have all that material in front of you. You have all these papers. Those are good times for you to catch up on your homework.
Oh, I did.
Rather than getting surly and bent out and pushing the mic away, making banging sounds, don't.
Oh, that was accident.
Well, yeah, I noticed that.
Well, my problem was he kept saying and that's what, kind of frightened me.
That is correct. In fact, you notice he had a lot more to talk about, and I cut him short because I didn't want to make it ponderous. Although I would be delighted to have him call back, and we can do the rest of the show on it. You can get a head start on the weekend.
Don't you think I would love to talk about two childhood friends of mine?
Now, here's But that's incredible. I went to school with Marcia.
It is
Now, how would she
incredible.
recognize me? That's got to be, let's see, elementary school is through what? 7th grade? 6th grade. I went through 6th grade in Brighton, so that's like about 11 or 12 years old, and here she recognized me. I can't believe it. Boy,
I
that's
think
amazing.
it is incredible. I think it's great, but it frightened me because after every sentence there came a big, long A-N-D.
That is correct.
Every time.
These letters and cards, by the way, are sensational, and we appreciate them very much. I'm just opening my mail. Here's one even addressed to you, which I'm sorry I couldn't have handed this to you during that call.
Busy, I know.
It would have kept you very busy, and you wouldn't have gotten so surly, okay? He gets very upset. Oh, yeah, we would love some fruit. Wouldn't you like some fruit?
Sure.
You know what I like are those seedless grapes, man. I love that, because I'm really going to have a big week on Nutrisystem. I don't want to let Linda and Susan down again. Boy, look at this here. From Palm Beach County, we're getting some letters, too. How do you like that? That's it. Open it up and bang the mic around a little bit,
It's difficult to open. I like making all this noise.
Okay, let's go to a mobile on 95. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
What's your prediction on the Mercs versus the Binghamton Dusters tonight?
Oh, great. I think the Mercs by 2 goals, probably.
Okay, I wanted to bet that one. I just wanted to make sure. Hey, listen, I'm driving on I-95, and I'm passing by Magic here, and I don't know if the rumor's true on Larry Kent, but I see a 6-foot chair being delivered right now coming out of the van.
Oh, my gosh. I just got a copy of a letter. Oh, boy. I just got a copy of a letter in regard to the Hallandale thing that is just going to frost. It's going to drive people up the wall.
Well, I'll hang up and let you read it.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Now, I'm not going to read the letter per se, but when you see this during the break, this is like, you remember when Nixon was in all the hot water and Watergate was going on, and then they finally got that one tape and they called it the smoking gun?
Sure.
And his attorney threatened to resign if he didn't release the tape. Well, here's the smoking gun letter that somebody has sent me a copy of to the City of Hallandale Council.
Right. Okay.
Oh, boy. And guess who sent the letter?
Uh-huh.
And, you know, the interesting part of it is I want to make this very clear. The young man who called from University of Miami was all upset about the letter, or the article on the front page. Again, because it's an article in a publication like the Hurricane, again, it's a legitimate news story, okay?
Sure.
So, and there will be more news stories because I have some appointments to interview with some other people, and the news stories are going to continue. And as the news stories do continue, we'll be able more and more to discuss, according to that, even assuming that agreement is valid, which most of us don't think it is. But even if it were, we'll be able to discuss these things because it does make the exception where there is a legitimate news story. We can always discuss it. And certainly the City of Hallandale thing is a very legitimate news story. It's been in the major newspapers, etc., in Dade and Broward counties. And here is a copy of the letter which was sent to the Hallandale City Council. I thought it was commissioned myself.
Excellent.
But, and it's interesting. Here's a long list of sponsors of this program. Oh, this is going to be very, very interesting. And I thank the senior citizen in Hallandale who passed this along. I appreciate it very much. It's 12:23 at WIOD. Now, if you were listening earlier, Sharon hid my car, and they put the LoJack device in the car, and then they went out and tracked her down, and they give her like a head start, you know. And 12:27 at WIOD. I want to tell you something. I am reading the 6 allegations made in this letter by this attorney to the City of Hallandale. They are so outrageous and so ridiculous, and everything that's in here is twisted by the intent. Everything that was said was in humor, and each of these things has been taken and suggesting that it was said seriously by me on this program.
Very seriously.
It is incredible, okay? There is also here a list of sponsors of this program. Local businesses that know the content of Roger's show, which includes trolling for teenage boys, playing filthy songs and other recordings illegally, and criminally targeting citizens for death threats, bomb threats, and other harassment have supported this show financially. And here is a list. Oh, boy. This is the smoking gun. Even Richard Nixon himself would be doing a tap dance over this, okay? And again, thank the gentleman in Hallandale who sent that along to me, okay? We have an open line in Boca at 278-9463, 278-WIOD, and one in Palm Beach, 655-9463, 655-WIOD. Shocking. Just incredible. Miami, hello.
Hello, Neil. How are you? How's
Good.
Glen?
Hi.
And Neil, can you do me a favor? I have a request.
Request?
Yeah, I
Hello,
just
can
can't
we have
wait.
a request?
What's the crank request, sir?
The asshole 95.
Is that it, sir? Is that the best?
Hallandale,
Is that the best you can do?
That's ours.
What? That's alles, huh? Okay, go have your Metamucil, pal, will you, please? Get lost. This is the same guy who called on Steve's show a couple of days ago with the guttural sound. We have an open line in Dade County, 751-9463, 751-WIOD. Meanwhile, let's move to Hallandale. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Neil.
Yeah.
I just saw the commission meeting on Channel 25. They played the tape back.
They played it again, huh?
Oh, did they do a number on you, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
I don't think it was today. I think it was...
No, I just turned it off.
One person.
Huh?
Well, I don't know what it was. Why don't you tell us what it was?
What, the tape?
What you saw.
Basically what they said in that letter that you just received from a guy about the bomb threats, how the attorney, I will not mention his name, he has been over at Gulfstream trying to pull the sponsorship off of WIOD because...
Yeah, with obvious great success, right?
Right. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. But one Commissioner, Cohen, he's playing the Hallandale song, and he's like leading the orchestra with his hand. And then when it's all over towards the end of the meeting, he says, this is terrible, you know, we've got to do something about this. I mean, it's just unbelievable. They're really trying to do a number up here on you.
Okay, well, don't lose any sleep over it, okay?
Oh, I'm not going to. I'm behind you 100%.
I'm not losing any either.
Good man.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
12:30 at WIOD. We have an open line in Broward, 524-9463. 524-WIOD. Yeah, this stuff is really terrible, man. That Hallandale Vice. Oh, God. And Hallandale Vice 2 now, which is even adds more frosting to the old cake, so to speak. But like I said, we've got the smoking gun right here, and boy, it is just phenomenal. I think the gentleman who sent me this letter, I have no idea where he got it.
I can't imagine.
But again, you know, it's a letter to the city council, so it certainly ought to be a matter of public record. I just can't imagine where he got it, but I don't think he realizes what a tremendous help he has provided to us. Just trying to create as much problem for this radio station and this company as he possibly can, and just trying to find any sympathetic ear that he can for this malicious witch hunt of his, okay? That's the bottom line. Miami, hello.
Couple things.
Yeah.
How does this guy earn a living?
I haven't got any idea, sir. That's a very excellent question.
Does your competitors pay him or what?
I haven't got any idea how he earns a living. No idea.
Apparently he just tapes the show and then edits the show at night.
Yeah.
And then just goes to sponsors during the
Well,
day.
now that Steve is on the list, he's got to, when it was on INZ, he was taping Stan's show, and now he evidently has to tape Steve's show as well. Now, what that was that we were just hearing there, I have no idea. But consider the source.
It really does make you think about someone's life. What a life they have.
1231 at WIOD, an opening in Dade, 751-9463. Palm Beach continues to be dormant. This is probably the worst day on the Palm Beach line since we've been on this station. I mean, I think we've had like 2 calls on there in the whole show, which is okay. But I just don't know. Like you said, they could be dropping Metamucil bombs on Palm Beach, and those people up there forget it. It's just a lost cause.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Here's equal time for Glen. Here's somebody in Tamarack. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
This is the first time I'm calling, but I think this is a very important issue here. I went to school with Glen. We attended BCC and FAU together in broadcasting. And I think a lot of people don't realize that Glen has a degree, and he's been in broadcasting for many years, and he's not just sitting around as your sidekick.
Yeah. Well, it is hard to relate to that, you know.
I'm sure Glen doesn't remember me. My name is Rita.
Rita, I do remember you.
Do you? Okay. I'm in public relations now.
Uh-huh.
And, I guess you had Steve Craig also, and we really harped in the
Dr.
First Amendment rights, and in fact, I did a paper on it, a 10-page paper. And we realize how important it is that we protect these rights.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't want to leave Neil out. I lived in Buffalo, and I lived in Rochester.
Great. Well, you're just an all-around gal. That's great with us.
Yeah, my ex-husband went to Eastman Dental Center in Rochester. We lived at the University of Rochester in Whipple Park.
Fantastic.
But we don't want to talk about any
sure
of that
we do.
part.
We really turned this call around very nicely.
We want to make everyone equal here.
We want to talk about FAU.
Okay, you have a great day.
Okay.
Bye. No, that was nice. It was nice and equal. We have an open line in Broward now, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. And if you're looking for a different and exciting night of entertainment tonight for the whole family. Come out to Pompano.
The number you have reached has been changed. The new number is... Please make a note of it.
I sure will. 12:37, 23 till 1. Steve has open phones, and in Sports Talk at 6:05. I don't know if we got baseball tonight or not. Dorothy was in here, and she said, I'm not sure if we're doing a game, and she was going to check on it, and she never came back. What happened to Dorothy? Did she steal my car? And took off with it, boy. I think we planted some ideas. Anyway, we'll find out. I know the Hurricanes are playing tonight at 7:30, but we will find out. Right?
Yeah. I think somebody...
Although I guess I shouldn't mention that because, you know...
Yeah, I know. That's what I was...
University of Miami and
right.
Hurricanes and
exactly
sports.
What I was thinking.
Anyway, we'll take a mobile in Palm Beach. Hello.
Hello, Neil. Here's my horn.
Great.
I want to let you know I've been listening to you. I'm an occasional spy. The name is Mel, and I call in once in a while. There are a lot of listeners up here. As a matter of fact, I own a small company. I employ 9 people, 6 of which are over 65 years of age. And all those blue-hair old farts love your show. I insist that the radio station be on during the day when they work, and they wouldn't come to work, I think, at this point if they weren't listening to you. You have more support than you could possibly realize.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tinkle, tinkle.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Now, we don't have Canes baseball tonight, and I think the reason being that Canes basketball tomorrow night is in Chicago. They're playing at DePaul, and as a result, Sonny and Cher and Joe will be there, right? Yes, sir.
Baseball tonight at Mark Stadium. IOD is traveling to Chicago playing Joe.
Isn't that what I just said? That's incredible. I must be psychic. That's exactly what I just said. So we're not carrying the game. I mean, I'll be happy to go over and do the game. I think I probably could because I did it for 6 years, but I could probably go over and do it. But we just won't do it, okay? Because that would get somebody in the Gables upset, and we don't want to do that. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. How long has he been here?
Just like this week.
Very short time. I'll bring him back in here. Anyway, it's 12:39. I don't want to scare him, right off the first week.
Please.
21 till...
Don't. Please don't scare him.
Don't what? Oh, I see. Now, do we have a double set of standards here or what?
Yes.
See?
Yes,
now,
we do.
April, you're getting to sound like our friend, okay, in the Gables.
Don't. I think that's a little strong.
No, you're getting to sound just a little. You know how it starts? It starts like a serious disease with a little cough. Yep, you're starting to sound just like some other folks we know. It's okay if April comes in here or Gail or anybody else, and you're just absolutely falling all over them. But if I just make a comment that we have this intern here who happens to be a fine young man, and of legal age, by the way, so we don't want to get anybody upset out there in the audience.
To be fair, it gets mentioned when I do that, too. My molesting
So what's
April.
wrong with that? We make a joke out of it. We don't say stop. Now, you would agree that our young friend there in the newsroom, our intern, is a very charming young man, wouldn't you? Yeah, see, Sharon agrees. She knows I have impeccable taste. No, he's just a nice guy. I don't want to scare him, but he will never, I guarantee, he'll never come back in the studio again now. Okay. Did you give this to the appropriate authorities? Great. Boy, you're just on top of it, And it's amazing she's still got the handcuffs on. That's the incredible part. Okay, it's 12:40, 20 till 1 at WIOD. See, I've tried to explain this to you folks before, and of all people not to understand.
I understand.
When somebody expresses the fact, this thing, the fact that most of us would like to be really good looking, okay? I don't know anybody who wants to be ugly like most of us are. In fact, when you go into a shopping mall, you'll see most of the people are they're like average to ugly. If you had a Richter scale, right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
Oh, sure.
And that's why the people who are exceptionally good looking, they stand out.
I know.
If everybody looked the same, if everybody looked great, then relatively speaking, nobody would look great. You follow me? Or am I making you confusing?
I'm not confused.
So when you see somebody who's really pleasant looking, I don't want to get into a whole thing. Somebody looks good, and you say it, that's not a big song and a dance. It's a compliment.
You said...
And people who become insecure because that doesn't mean necessarily that they want to jump on your bones and make wild, passionate love and do things, although they might.
Yeah, and all you said
Mightn't
was,
they?
I don't want to scare him, and I said, please don't. That's all I said. Please don't scare him away.
Look, he's been around. He understands. It's just a radio show, okay? It's just a radio show. Did I go running out of the chair and run up there and put my arm around his waist and kiss him passionately on the cheek?
No.
No.
Not yet.
Anyway, it's 12:41, and he is going to get upset. It's just a radio show, pal. Don't get nervous. It's just one of those things. It's just that we work with so many ugly people that on those rare occasions when we see anybody who looks even human, we get nervous, okay? That's why when April comes in here, she generally winds up
Yeah.
Trying to rearrange your clothing on the way
And
out.
that gets mentioned.
Anyway, let's move along to Miami. Hello.
Hey, howdy.
Howdy. How you doing, bud?
Hey, what's happening, dude?
Hey, dude, how's it going? Hey, pal.
When is the show going to get back to what it was before this stuff came up?
Well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, because all this last couple of days has been about. It just hasn't.
Hey,
been
let me tell you something, okay? In the beginning of the show, I went on a great length about the Morton Downey Jr. show last night, which does have some relationship to this other thing because they were talking about so-called schlock radio and TV and about community standards. But I mean, we've had like 2 calls of people who saw the show, and that's it. And Joey was here yesterday, and we talked to him about being on there. We promoted it, and this audience is into this thing. I mean, you got to understand, this is not a minor drop in the bucket. This thing.
Oh, I know.
This has been going on for 19 months. We haven't been able to talk about it at all in the past. And now that it's a legitimate news story all over the place, now we got a different situation, and people want to discuss it.
This is exciting, sir. You can't get into it?
No, I'm getting into it, but I'm getting to the point where I want to get back to what we used to be doing.
Well, that'll happen. Okay?
Yeah, I know.
Slowly.
I'm just saying.
I'll tell you, the sooner it'll happen is when these people, including this one individual and the city commission in Hallandale, understand that they can't act as little dictators and coerce us into saying and doing only what they approve of, okay?
Yeah.
That's not how the medium works.
Oh, he doesn't
That's
have
not
the
how
right to do that, right?
Does he?
No, he doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Hey,
I just wanted to check with you.
I'm not real intelligent here, but what does homophobic mean?
Somebody who is hateful or fearful or both of homosexuals.
Okay, now I got that cleared up.
Okay.
Now, I need to call somebody, douchebag. Please let me.
Yes, sir.
Spiro, you bullheaded, narrow-minded, backwooded monster. You are a severe douchebag.
Okay, but other than that is okay, right?
Well, yeah, if you get his...
Yeah, okay. Have a nice day. You did so well, I wouldn't want you to spoil it, okay? You really did a beautiful job. You got all the good ones in there, and you just didn't step over the line. 1244 at WIOD. We have an open line in Dade, 751-9463. 751-WIOD. It's a very exciting day because we now have the smoking gun letter, which is incredibly inflammatory and outrageous, and, again, as usual, taking things that I've said and twisting them and distorting them. And you could do this to any comic. You could do it to Eddie Murphy, to Don Rickles, to Richard Pryor, to anybody who does humor. Certainly to Howard Stern, to those guys in Houston, to Tanner, to almost any controversial radio or TV personality or comic that I can think of.
That talks about actual issues and things, sure.
And who does satire.
Yeah.
And, here's what they said, and they meant it, and always as though it's intended seriously and not in humor.
The perfect example is David Letterman. I mean, what you could do with him.
Incredible.
It's incredible. Absolutely.
Moving right along, Hallandale, hello.
Hello, my name is Jaime Katz. I'm president of a group called Concerned Citizens of Hallandale.
Oh, what a phony voice, Jaime. Yeah, what a phony... Can't you do a better phony voice?
This is my voice, I'm sorry.
No, it's not your voice.
I'm urging...
No, do a real voice.
Please.
Do a different voice.
Please hear me out.
Do a different voice, Jaime. Come on.
This is my voice.
Do a Chinese voice.
Okay, I'm urging everyone who lives...
Okay, that's better. 1245 at WIOD. We have an open line in Palm Beach, which is very unusual. 655-9463. I'm going to give this Palm Beach line one more time, and then no, seriously. It doesn't really make a big difference because all the other lines have been lit all day, but it's almost like it's intentional. You know what I mean? It's almost like they're organized up there like they're going to ignore us come hell or high water. 655-WIOD. I realize Lee Fowler's got the collectibles guy on again today, and we can't compete with that, but there got to be a few stragglers up there somewhere, don't there? There it goes. Plantation, hello. Probably a line checker. Yes.
Hi, Neil.
Yes.
I listened last night, but I didn't understand half the things that were said.
Well, it was a horrible show.
Yes, definitely. And I heard Fort Lauderdale mentioned, and California, and Texas.
Yeah, with a banjo on their knee, yeah.
But nothing made sense to me.
Well, that's Morton Downey. Don't you understand? That's his show.
Well, I've seen his show, but last night it was impossible, and then I wanted to get back to Knott's Landing and find out what they picked up that gal.
That gal, yeah.
Yeah. And then I switched back, and it's still, and then they put the 2 fingers up. I don't know what that means.
Which 2 fingers were they?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Look out.
Whether it's the 4th or the 2nd and 3rd.
You better watch yourself. Now govern yourself accordingly.
Well, that's what I was worried about.
Yeah. I didn't see it. I forgot all about Knots Landing last night.
Well, nothing's happened.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
It'll be
See, Knots Landing's one of those shows you can miss 4 or 5 weeks and then come back and get right in the swing of it again.
right, and then I got involved with Dynasty.
Oh,
and
boy.
then I went back to the Democrats.
Oh, God.
But they're getting to agree. I don't know what's going to happen this afternoon when Quayle gets down to the school.
Yeah. It's a hell life, isn't it?
Oh,
It all fits together.
everything's so mixed up.
I know. Well, that's why Morton Downey show it may not have made sense, but it was timely because it was so confusing and mixed up, and it fit right in with everything else.
Yeah, well, what happened with Stern? Is he finished now?
Is he finished?
Yeah.
I don't think so. He's probably got another 20, 30 million to make before he's finished.
Well, I didn't mean that. I mean, he's off the air in New York.
No, he's not.
Oh, I thought...
Who told you that?
No, I thought I heard that.
No, he's not off. He wasn't on the show last night because he doesn't do those group encounters like that, in addition to which he comes off very badly on TV.
Yeah, well...
You know, when you look like Twisted Sister on a bad day, TV is just not your medium, you know.
By the way, now that you've got your dogs trained, you can take them down to the Hallandale...
City Commission, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be good. They can make, like going to the bank, make a few deposits.
Yeah, right.
Okay, you have a good weekend now.
You too.
Bye. 1248 at WIOD. We have 2 open lines in Broward now. Now that we got Palm Beach going, now Broward's 524-9463. 524-WIOD, and I want to talk to you now about a great way to lose some weight, keep it off, make you feel better, look better, wear some clothing that's civilized sizes. And, of course, we are talking about Nutrisystem and their tremendous weight loss program. It's not a diet. It's not a fad. It's not a gimmick. There are no pills. There are no promises of wild overnight weight loss. You have to have a positive attitude and really work at it. Fat Rich is up to almost 45 pounds. I think it's 44.
Really?
I'm at 31 pounds lost, and this week I'm really going to get in the swing of it again after a couple of weeks in limbo. And we got lots of folks just here at IOD who have lost all kinds of weight and are keeping it off. You know, you can lose weight in almost any kind of a diet, but keeping it off is the important part. And Nutrisystem has a sensible, complete maintenance program to help you keep that weight off forever. For your no-obligation, computerized weight loss consultation, you call them right now, 1-800-344-8446. That's 1-800-344-THIN. Please tell them Neil Rogers at WIOD told you to call.
Now, more with Neil Rogers on News Talk Radio 610, WIOD.
Incredible. 1252 at WIOD. We got a mobile in Broward. Hello.
Neil, how are you?
Good.
How you doing, Bird?
Good. This is a real mobile. We can tell.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
you don't even have to toot your thing there.
Oh, okay, Neil. Listen, Neil, I called Steve Kane a couple days ago. I don't know if you heard me. I'm the supervisor for department in Hallandale.
Yes, I did hear that call.
Okay, well, this morning, just to make a little long story short, I had a memo on my desk to go to the director's office and... hello?
Yeah, the call's breaking up. We got a bad...
Try to improve it. Is this
There you go.
That's...
This better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, I pulled over the side of the road. I was called into the director's office this morning, and I was presented with a reprimand for insubordination towards Mr. Intandola and towards our public works director because we supported you.
Really?
I'm trying to get to, once I get out of the office, I'm going to go to one of these places where they have fax, and I'm going to fax it to you. And basically what they're doing is they're asking for my resignation or I'll be facing dismissal charges. Just to let you know what kind of a dictatorship we have going here.
Well, isn't that interesting? I think when we get that on the fax machine, we'll send a copy along to our attorney, Norm Canton. Perhaps he would like to contact the city of Hallandale on your behalf and suggest that that kind of fascism is inappropriate. That you're even, no matter what your position is, you're still entitled to your own free opinion.
I really would appreciate it.
Now, this is because you called in and said that this was the call about the emergency telephones being tied up in Hallandale. Is that the call?
No, I'm a supervisor with the Department of Public Works, and even though I called with total, I didn't want to be known, and somebody recognized me, and they even played a recording back to the director.
Recording?
And he confronted me, and I go, yes, I did call, and I like to voice my opinion. I think it's my right because that's what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, that you could have serious charges brought against you because that's insubordination to our county manager and to our city manager rather, and our mayor and your director in general. I go, well, that's the way I feel. So this morning, like I said, I walked in. I had a memo to go down to City Hall, and sure enough, I was presented with this letter of reprimand.
Incredible. Well, nice to know the kind of folks we're dealing with over there.
Just to let you know, Neil, we still back you up 100%, and I got a meeting this afternoon at 5 o'clock with a rep from the ACLU on this case.
Excellent.
Also.
Great. Go get him.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Good
Neil.
luck.
Great show, and keep going.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Isn't that something?
Sure is.
It's really, seriously, it sounds like we're dealing with the Joseph Goebbels School of Broadcasting here.
Doesn't
It's really getting more and more dictatorial.
Yes.
And, those people are saying, well, why don't we get back to the regular show and why we keep talking about these things? It's this mentality, the seeds that are planted with this kind of mentality are what leads to the kind of thing that this world has been through over and over again. And you just don't sit back and let people start picking and choosing what you can say and who can say what and when they can say it. It's unacceptable. Yes, ma'am. You need that? Oh, great. That's another classic. Oh, yeah, we could write a book with all the classic communiques that are going back and forth all over the place, all over the smoking gun. This is sensational. This is incredible. Miami, hello.
Well, Neil.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm calling. I'm a University of Miami student, and I mean, this whole situation scares me to death. What this one guy can do, I know.
Yeah, it is amazing how one person can create through just a ceaseless, never-ending malicious campaign can create so much havoc and nuisance that it just almost, if you weren't involved in it, you would never believe it.
Yeah, I happen to work for the Miami Hurricane, although I wasn't involved in the article that came in, but I saw the letter this guy wrote, which I guess you're aware of.
Yeah.
What this guy wants to do, this guy who's not a member.
Okay, hold 1 second. The gentleman had just called us from Hallandale. Norm Kent would like to speak to him, and he can call Norm. It's in Broward, 763-1900. 763-1900. Norm would be very happy to...
The University of Miami to totally disassociate with your show and I guess IOD in general. This guy's not a student at U of M. He's not a faculty member.
Well, again, keep in mind that he wrote this letter to the city of Hallandale. He lives in Coral Gables, okay? Now, what in the world has city of Hallandale government got to do with someone who lives in the Gables other than the fact that we play a couple of musical pieces on the air that are satirical spoofs of Hallandale?
Yeah, and another thing is, I don't know if you read the Hurricane article.
No, I haven't seen it.
It was written as a news article, and there wasn't opinion injected into the article. However, it was very biased towards its side.
Well, no question about it, because as I said, this kid who wrote it that I talked to the other day, he said to me, well, I heard you last week take a couple of shots at the university. I said, so what about it? I said, isn't it a free country? I've been taking shots at the university for years, and I said it again today. The university is like an island, and it's unfortunate, but it is a true, and everybody I talk to, when the conversation comes up, they agree. I've never had anybody disagree with that statement.
Yeah, and an even scarier thing is, if they come out with this, the editorial opinion policy of the Hurricane, I don't know if they're going to write this, but is essentially siding with him. Which, I mean, I just feel it's unbelievable.
Especially, you usually think of campus newspapers as being liberal or progressive or open-minded. And, I think the fact that what you're telling me is true indicates that what I've said about the university is true, that they tend to be stuffed shirts and right-wing and, not what you usually expect on a college campus, quite the opposite. And I'm going to say one other thing. As I said the other day, if Ron Fraser and the other people in the sports department there had to depend on support from the student body for the success of their programs, they would have quit playing baseball 20 years ago at the U of M, okay?
Well, along with the football
That's the kind of
team
support
and
they
the
get. That's
basketball
right.
team, yeah.
And that's another reason that the football team has such poor attendance because, while the rest of the community is wishy-washy to begin with, if the student body would support it the way they do on other college campuses, they'd have that stadium filled every ball game or close to it.
What I was saying before is I happen to be an opinion writer for the Hurricane, although I'm not involved in the overall paper's editorial policy, and I'm also a liberal writer. And it's, and the hate mail I get, the havoc just my normal liberal articles cause.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, a lot of the kids at U of M, a tremendous percentage of them come from very well-to-do families who tend to be very politically conservative, and, they're into this yuppie thing and all of that kind of stuff, and it's not the kind of political activism that you still see on a lot of other college campuses. You just won't find it there.
Yeah, and, one thing I like to say is I generally don't listen to your program, not because I like or dislike it, just because I generally don't have the time, so losing your program wouldn't leave a void in my life, but just the thought that one person could do this, really scares me.
Yeah.
And it's another point I'd like to make is, I really don't think anyone could deny that your brand of humor is offensive to some people.
Well, I think that everybody who does this kind of humor offends somebody.
But I think the big difference is, even though you're offensive and even some of your things could even be deemed racist, I don't think you perpetrate hate. I think there's a big difference.
Okay, I appreciate it. Hang in there.
I will. You too, Neil.
Thanks a lot. Okay, we're at the end of the hour. We still have some very interesting stuff coming in here on the fax machine, which is incredible.
This fax machine's great.
Let me give that fax number again if you want to send us a letter of support on the fax machine, 757-7516, 757-7516. Or if you don't want to send a letter of support, we had one negative letter yesterday out of the hundreds that came in, and that's okay, too, because what goes around comes around. Okay, April Wortham is standing by, and I do mean standing, in the WIOD newsroom with a 1 o'clock report. We'll come back for hour number 4 at 1:05. Steve at 2 this afternoon.
WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, South Florida station for news every hour around the clock is News Talk Radio. 51 WIOD in Dade, 524 WIOD in Broward, or 655 and 278 WIOD in the Palm Beaches. Other areas may call collect. The opinions expressed by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily those of the station. Now, here's Neil Rogers on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
We ought to check that middle cart deck, shouldn't we, and see if it works? Yeah, it works. Okay, 106 at WIOD. We have 1 hour to go. Then Steve with open phones from 2 to 6. Sports Talk at 6:05. And no game tonight. We got our usual lineup of wild nighttime people, right? Rush Limp, Paw, and Tom Snyder, and a whole cast of schmageggies, okay? All right, let's go back to your calls. There's a Boca call. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of politics in Hallandale, how do you know when it's cold in Hallandale?
Is this a joke, sir?
It's clean.
Okay.
The politicians have their hands in their own pockets.
That's cute.
I'm up in Boca waiting for that one-way bus down there.
Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Good day. Open line in Boca now, 278-9463. Here's the call we've been waiting for, the Supra versus the Corvette call.
Oh, no. I was, if this certain individual is successful in taking you off the air, you have a business opportunity that I don't think you see. If you keep parking the Supra next to the Corvette, you might end up with a bunch of little Suprette hot dog carts around.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, Suprette.
Yeah. Glen.
Mildly amusing, not spectacular, but on a scale of 3, about a -7.
Well, you got to open slow and then build.
That's okay. We just got our fruit from Pantry Pride, so we're happy.
Glenn, did you get the picture that I sent you with Caprita's face cut out of it?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to talk about that.
All right, and I know you've already commented that Gail is not so bright. I've heard you say a couple times.
Oh, no, that's just a little play on words.
I know, but the
although
real
it may
question,
be true.
The real question is April Wortham?
Boy, this guy is just, you're really full of it. You know what, pal?
I'm trying.
And I bet you've been told that before, too.
Yeah.
I'd say yeah.
Did you hear the guy's comment last? Oh, I did see Morton Downey last night. The guy's comment about telling him he was full of something by telling him he needed more fiber.
Yeah.
That was about the cleanest thing the guy said.
I know. All right, y'all have a good day.
You too. Y'all hold on to what y'all got.
I'll call you in another week and bore you some more.
Okay, well, you did a great job of it. Thanks a lot. 108 at WIOD. We have an open line in Dade. 751 WIOD.
I smell cantaloupe.
Yeah, there are cantaloupe slices in there. Thanks again to Larry, our fruit man. Let's see. You can reach the cantaloupe. I can reach the grapes. And I bet you Linda and Susan are very pleased about this. A few seedless grapes never hurt anybody. Okay, now I will count them. I promise to count them as I eat them. Okay, I may not necessarily tell anybody how many I eat, but I will actually count them as we go, as we move right along, as they say in the business. Miami, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Neil, I'd like you to play the Candy Bar song.
Would you really?
I dare you.
Why is that?
Because it's got that asshole in Hallandale.
What? Go gargle with Clorox, would you, pal? Boy. Talk about Stone City. I think we're getting some of Steve's callers early here there. He keeps accusing us. You notice that? When Steve gets crank calls, he keeps accusing our people of, holding over later. But I notice as it gets closer to 2 o'clock every day, we start getting some of the mouth breathers. Fort Lauderdale, hello.
Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Okay.
I hope I can rate as high as that last call.
Yeah, he was really good, wasn't he?
First of all, I'd like to voice my support for you. I've been listening to you for a few years now, and I can't believe that this is continuing.
Well, I can't either, so join a club.
It's shocking. And you know what's even scarier is that this individual was almost a elected public official of ours.
Well, let's not say almost.
No.
I mean, he got a significant number of votes, but 70 to 30% is not what you call your close election.
That's too close for my comfort.
Yeah, that's true.
That's way too close for my comfort. I mean, if this individual can wreak havoc like he's been doing as a private citizen, you can imagine that as a public official what kind of leverage he would have.
Well, that's a good point.
Well, the thing that's fascinating is that the public got very little information. I think the media in this town did a horrendous job, and they often do a horrendous job. When people, come forward and they run for public office, especially people who are relatively obscure, I think the public's got a hell of a lot more right to know a lot more about these people than just a little blurb somewhere and then an editorial, which is basically what happened in that case. I mean, being the state attorney in any county in the state is a powerful position, and to think that the public had so little information and background in this person, I think, is deplorable, and the newspapers especially should be chastised for it. They did a horrendous job.
You're right. They should have done to him what they did to Gary Hart.
Well, I'm not saying they should, I'm not putting it in that perspective, but they certainly should have given us some background and information.
You're absolutely right, and that's the whole point to that whole thing.
Well, like John Tower, yeah.
In any case, I hope you stick it to this guy like he deserves to be stuck.
Okay.
But did you catch the president's speech last night?
No, I don't. I don't need no-dos.
You don't need no-dos.
No.
It was funny. He got to one part.
Well, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, he got to one part in his speech, and he was talking about taking care of those that are in the shadow of life, and immediately the cameras panned to Claude Pepper.
Oh, boy.
It was. I mean, I thought for sure you were programming that.
I'm surprised they didn't play the Four Seasons Standing in the Shadows of Love.
Right?
Okay.
Glenn, wait, Glenn.
Yeah, moving along.
Glenn.
Four Tops, but yeah, go ahead.
What did I say?
Four Seasons.
The Four Tops. And well, I'm trying to read and eat grapes and walk and chew gum, and we're talking about the president.
That's why I'm here to help.
It's my Jerry Ford syndrome.
Yes, sir.
Glenn, after watching the presidential speech, I realized that maniac mercenary that's on Zeta in the morning is absolutely wrong. Dan Quayle is the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Okay, have a great day, pal.
Good day.
You're out of time. 112.
That was cute.
At WIOD. Let me tell you about Charhut right now. If you're in the mood for WIOD on a wonderful Friday, man, this is one of the great days in my life, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like getting out of Alcatraz, right? Getting close to it. Yeah. Well, not completely, but we're getting there real quickly. Okay, we got a mobile in Broward. Hello.
How you doing there, Neil?
Okay, pal.
This is the Duke. I'm in Miami, actually, but I called you on the other line.
Well, whatever fits.
Yeah, speaking of Alcatraz, I'm going to be calling you from a long distance of San Francisco and Hawaii next week.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I'm going on a little vacation.
Have you been to Hawaii before?
I was there 2 years ago.
Great.
We're visiting 2 other islands this time, though.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little report for you last night. I thought it was the funniest show I ever saw on TV. During dinner hour at 7:30, my family usually likes to watch Wheel of Fortune with the letter turner there, and we decided to do a little bit more of an educational program and watch one of those news stories. They had a story. They had 2 stories that I'm just going to tell you real quickly about.
All right, now, was this inside story or outside story?
If it was outside, it must have been in the outhouse. I'll tell you where they picked this one up from. They had a story about a man and a woman that were married, and the husband became a woman, and now it's her ex-husband, but they're best friends.
Yeah.
And then
now, wait a minute. Can we follow that again? I'm going to draw a diagram while you're talking.
All right, let me go back over this now. I know you guys, it's a Friday, it's a little beautiful outside, but the man and woman were married, and now the man is her best friend as a female.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
and now they're lesbian lovers.
Exactly.
Now, do you have
didn't say that. She did say that she had sex with a male to test to make sure that everything worked.
I see.
But anyway, the second story was even better. They had a story about the city fathers in Jacksonville, which kind of reminded me of this little town in South Broward called Hallandale. The city fathers there, in their infinite wisdom, decided to ban topless dancing and selling alcohol in the same establishment. So they got around that, the club owners, for a little while by having totally nude dancing. Then the city fathers acted real quick on that, and then the bars stopped serving alcohol and just soft drinks. Well, they didn't stop at that, the city fathers. They banned all beverages and all bars from serving where there's topless dancing. So the bar owners went out and opened up topless car washing places. And they put like these tarpaulins around the property. And the funny thing is, you know how the cameras were showing the girls dancing, and they have like this disguising effect where they have like a prism in front of the woman's breast, and you can see right through it to where everything was. And then they're showing these girls washing a car, and one of the girls walked right in front of the windshield of a Volvo. You could see everything on the girl, and they didn't blot it out. It was so funny.
Well, this sure beats Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, Van is getting pretty ponderous, you know.
Well, my son is 7 years old. I figured I'd upgrade him from looking at Vanna every night with her costumes into some real nudity on TV. And now he's totally confused. The kid asked me this morning again, now, Dad, let me get this straight. The man and woman were married, but now she's a woman.
I'll tell you how bad it's getting. One of the puzzles on last night's show was the word was ponderous. Well, listen, have a great day, Patty.
Well, one other quick
Oh,
thing.
yeah, quickly.
I had dinner last Saturday night at Char Hut, and I'll tell you, they're the best breasts in town.
You bet.
Take care, guys.
Have a great life, pal. Okay. Oh, God.
The Duker. That was the Duke.
Oh, my God.
Was
He's
it
just
ever?
apoplectic, okay? I mean, it's a Friday afternoon. Everybody's a little on the mellow side. Where's my check, Cheryl? And we have an open line in Broward, 524-9463. 524-WIOD. Let's go to Boca. Hello.
Hi, Neil. How you doing?
Okay.
This is a distress call from Palm Beach County. I live in Fort Lauderdale, and I work in Boca. Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, I couldn't hear you. No, I work in Boca. I've been up here about 2
I'm eating grapes. I can't keep talking nonstop, you know.
No, I'm surrounded by douchebags and blue hairs and yuppies. It's incredible up here.
Well, move, sir.
I want to get back to Fort Lauderdale.
Well, who's stopping you?
No, anyway, I wanted to... Oh, can I say something?
No, wait a minute. No, seriously. You said you want to get back to Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, yeah,
and...
at the end of the day, but I got to come up here to work. I need the money.
Oh, I see. I got you.
I live in Fort Lauderdale.
Well, then get a new job.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I've been here about 2 weeks.
Could be a lot worse. You could work in Fort Lauderdale and live in Boca.
Oh, that would be worse.
Well, so there's a little silver lining inside every dark thing.
And when I first came to Florida a couple years ago, I lived in Boca, and I couldn't stand it anymore. I went to Fort Lauderdale. Much better down there. Anyway, a couple years ago when you were on INZ...
Oh, God, yes.
Yes, I got my brother to start listening to you, and he got his friends to start listening to you, and now his whole softball team is listening to your show every day.
Great. Well, we want to say hi to your brother's softball team.
Can I say something to them?
No.
That George is a great American and Dennis is a douchebag.
Okay, have a great day, sir. Boy, your call was an award winner, believe me. We also have a lot of listeners in the Navy. How do you like that?
Yeah.
Because here is a gentleman who's in the Navy.
Yeah, they'll probably get a letter now.
And he says, where does it say this? You guys, where does it say it? Oh, yeah, you have several fans in the Navy and are the source of hours of enjoyment. And he also says, when I hear something on your show that I don't like, which is rare, I use a revolutionary little gadget known as the off button.
Oh, no, really? Boy, those Navy
Leave it to
guys.
those guys in the U.S. military to figure out something as amazing as that, okay? And by the way, you folks in the Navy, man, watch those phone banks because God only knows how long it'll take for that first call to come through to the Navy recruiting office, right? So govern yourselves accordingly, guys. And you know about a lot of those guys in the Navy, right? Woo! Okay, here's Miami. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay.
Is this Neil?
I think so.
Is it really great, Neil? How you doing?
Let me say it again. Okay.
Yeah, great. Listen, Boca's not so bad.
Can I tell you something I saw on TV on this tape I was watching last night? I was watching the David Letterman anniversary special, which was really funny. And anyway, in one of the local breaks, they had instead of the top 10 list, Channel 4 had the top 5 reasons you should stay tuned and watch the news at 11.
Mm-hmm.
I remember number 3 was because you live in Broward and there's snow on that other station, so you may as well keep it on 4.
Are you serious?
Number 2 was because Anna Esquik had an interview with Dave, and Dave was going to tell Anna all his innermost thoughts. And the number 1 reason that you should stay tuned to News 4 at 11 was if you don't, the News 4 team will sing Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Do you know that there's a promo that they're running on Channel 4, and I think it's in black and white, or parts of it are in black and white, I'm almost sure. And they show, like, the heads of some of the anchors. Do you know what I mean? Like, just in different strange positions.
Yeah.
And Anna Esquik in there, it looks like she's just crawling out of the sack. She's turning her head. I swear to you, it looks like she's in bed or something. So there's just no end to what they are doing, man. And you mark my words, the day is coming in this country. I was the one predicted years ago that all this schlock stuff that's on now, that would be the mainstream of what people were watching, and lo and behold, that's what it's become. And my next prediction is that sometime, it may take a while, but you are going to see topless news somewhere. Could be on cable first, but you will see topless newswomen on TV.
Why not?
Yeah.
It'll make you watch. They'll
get
do
a
it.
90 share,
they'll
man.
get great ratings. And speaking of Anna Esquith...
Anna to you, sir.
Just kidding.
It's an honor to speak to her.
Isn't it?
Anyway, it's 123 at WIOD, and if they choose Terry Merriman to fill that role that we just talked about, at least straighten her hair out first, okay? Because otherwise she'll look like River Phoenix, and that would be embarrassing. I want to tell you about a place where they have the most incredible fresh pasta, gourmet pasta. It's called Pastabilities.
Yes. They're gonna bring us something next week.
Are they?
Yeah.
I'll be damned. Boy, I look forward to that because they brought us food many, many times over the last couple of years, and it is always delicious. It's unique. They now, but listen to this, if you're on a special diet, they have low-cal pasta. So if you're on Pritikin or any other kind of diet, they have low-cal pasta, no egg yolks, no fat, very low cholesterol, and you don't have to sacrifice taste for calories. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, low calorie but delicious taste. And for a limited time only, if you say Neil Rogers sent you by at Pastabilities, you'll get a 10% discount on all those fantastic pastas. Long pasta, filled pasta, the classic pastas like shell, ziti, twist, and lots of others, and delicious sauces and cheeses as well. And they also have great Italian prepared dinners for you to take out as well. Pastabilities is located at 1009 Southeast 17th Street Causeway in Fort Lauderdale. You can call them at 462-2992. They're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. You tell them Neil sent you by. It'll save you 10% at Pastabilities.
Now, more with Neil Rogers on News Talk Radio 610, WIOD.
126 at WIOD, and our next call is another mobile in Miami on the Palm Beach line, of course. Hello.
On the Princeton line.
Yeah.
Hello, Neil. How are you?
Pretty good.
One thing I wanted to tell you is that I learned how to turn a radio off on the weekends thanks to Mr. Disney. Okay, so, I don't like the programming on the weekend, so I turn it off.
Yeah.
Very simple thing.
Even the best of Neil, huh?
Well, it's not that. It just gets, ridiculous hearing a show that you just did 2 days ago.
I know. I keep telling him they ought to play one from a couple of months ago, and these people just don't understand,
Well, the other thing I wanted to tell you or say something about was the fact that I own a pickup truck.
Oh, wait a minute. I have a note from Nick here. We are going to be doing that, okay? They finally wised up. They're a little slow here, But they're going to be doing it, so by the time you hear it again on Saturday, you will have forgotten what it was, and the same with Steve on Sunday.
Well, this is great, because my memory's not that long anyway.
Mine either. I can't remember what happened last hour. Okay, so getting back to pickup trucks.
Yes, have you been in pickup trucks lately? They're decked out like Cadillacs. Are you kidding me?
I have a feeling that the young man who called Steve yesterday did not have a pickup truck that was decked out like a Cadillac.
Well, I do. I just want to tell you that the interior of this truck is as nice as most sports cars.
Great.
So, just want
Well, I'll stick with my Vet, my Ferrari, and my
Well, you also want to know
Supra.
one other thing?
Huh?
You can get a Corvette engine in Chevy Silverados.
Great.
Now, is this call from a pickup truck?
Yes, it is.
And this is a mobile phone.
This is, I think, our first ever mobile call from a pickup truck.
With empty styrofoam cups on the dashboard and all.
Huh. All right, now we like it. Excellent call. You made history, pal.
Take care, Neil.
Thanks a lot. 128 at WIOD. We have an opening on that Palm Beach line again, which has gotten a little, not too exciting, but a little bit better, okay? As the day has progressed, it's like healing.
Slightly, slowly.
Yeah, slowly healing. 655 WIOD, and we'll go back to, oh boy, Hallandale. Hello.
I'm urging everyone who lives in Hallandale to swing their canes and to jab their walker.
We have an open line in Broward. That kid just won't give up. He just every different kind of voice that's ever been invented. It just with a Chinese voice and a Yiddish voice, and now with a I don't know what the hell that one was. I think it might have been Greek. Del Rey, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yeah.
That topless idea. I wonder how long it would take for the first discrimination suit.
Well, they probably have topless guys on there too, which wouldn't be too exciting, but.
Yeah. Two things I learned this morning. Did you know that Martinez is trying to have you take a drug test to get a license?
Yeah, I saw that. Now, isn't that the most ridiculous thing you ever saw in your life? What is that going to prove?
Well, I got a blue hair story that goes along with it. This lady pulls out in front of us. We follow her into a Winn-Dixie. I'm standing there observing her. Actually, I was staring her down, but I was observing her. She gets a cart, He bops around and runs right into this guy bringing the carts up to the front.
Mm-hmm.
Just nails him, goes right through him. The guy says, "Excuse me," and that's the way she drove the car.
Yeah.
So what good is a drug test for me going to do somebody she killed?
What can I tell you? You know, that Governor Martinez, he's been hanging around with Dracula too long. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, he's from Hallandale. Did he grow up down there?
Is he? Probably. We'll check it out. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, he's from Tampa.
Yeah, I know.
By way of Hallandale. I think he once had lunch there.
Same mentality, though.
You got it.
I got one more thing. Another subject. I was watching Phil Donahue. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I won't go any further. But wasn't it 7-Eleven that was through Playboy and Penthouse?
Yeah.
Phil Donahue sitting there interviewing LaToya Jackson. LaToya Jackson, the one in Playboy?
With a snake?
Well, yeah, she had the snake, yeah.
Yeah. That LaToya.
She's got it together, like the word from the 70s.
And
together. But
Phil
anyway,
was there interviewing LaToya,
all
and...
right, and...
God.
No, wait a minute. And Michael had seen the pictures, but he asked her to Federal Express the first copy she got to him.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil's response was, "Yeah, I know that, Michael. He just can't stop in at any 7-Eleven and pick one up."
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, gosh. You know, the lawyers must have had a cardiac hearing him say that. Isn't that kind of slanderous?
Why?
Well, they took him off the shelf. Now he's telling
Well,
me to
I
put
don't
it
know
back
if
on.
I don't know if they're still off. I don't know if they got him back on. I don't remember the upshot of that whole thing. But so he can go to U-Totem, you know.
Well,
he
I
can
guess,
go to Circle K.
I guess he couldn't blank it out. He had to play it because a blank would have said he just said something they shouldn't have. But anyway.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. Okay.
Well, I enjoyed talking to you.
Have a great day.
I voted for you in the Arbitron last month.
Thank you. Say goodbye. 131 at WIOD. We have an open line in Boca, 278-9463. 278-WIOD. There it goes. Look at that. Boy, we must have hit a raw nerve somewhere, because even Boca, we got a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yeah.
Hello, Glenn.
Hi. What's up?
Listen, I was
Is this like a ship-to-shore call?
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
I think this is a real mobile.
would you like to hear my voice?
Not necessary.
No, I don't think it's necessary, pal. Yeah. I told you, it's ship-to-shore, man. It's a steamship.
Yeah, I'm driving that tanker that got cut in half.
This guy must be on the Queen Mary. Go ahead, sir.
I'm in an 18-wheeler. Listen, I was really upset the way you were yelling at Glenn before. I think it was devastating. I haven't gotten over it yet, and I got butterflies in my stomach. I was upset. You practically brought me to tears.
Really?
So when you were yelling at him, this is a Neil Rogers show, and, that's not really nice.
It's funny. These things always happen over the same subject every time. It's the only time Neil ever yells at me.
Yeah, it's terrible. How do you put up with that?
Upstate New York.
Try to control yourself, sir.
I got over it,
Have a
though.
great life and get off the boat already. Well, you're
God,
133 at WIOD. It was.
Oh.
And we have that Palm Beach line open again, which it's really heating up now. Now that the show is almost over, they're really getting into the swing of it, okay? It takes them a little time to warm up to whatever's going on. Don't you understand? They're a little bit slow. Like in Lake Worth, they're a little slow. Probably the Lake Worth City Council is going to be getting a letter real soon from that awful Neil Rogers. And he's attacking those senior citizens in Lake Worth. It's just terrible. 655 WIOD, and we want to tell you that if you're a sports nut, man, and you don't have OD.
It's the little old lady from Hialeah. It's the little old lady from Hialeah. Granny slow, granny slow, with a baseball cap and a silk gardenia. Granny slow, granny slow, granny slow, hidden in a rickety rundown shack. She's got a mint condition 68 Cadillac. Now I can't think of no one who could make me meaner than that little old lady from Hialeah. She crawls and she stalls, she's a real old fart. She's the terror of Hallandale Beach Boulevard. She's a little old lady from Hialeah. It's the little old lady from Hialeah. Slow, granny, slow, granny, slow, granny, slow. She'll cut you off and act like she's never seen ya. Granny, slow, granny, slow, granny, slow. Don't try and blow your horn to agitate her, 'cause she'll only keep sucking on a respirator. Now I can't think of no one who would make me meaner than that little old lady from Hialeah. She crawls and she stalls, she's a real old fart. She's the terror of Hallandale Beach Boulevard. She's a little old lady from Hialeah. It's the little old lady from Hialeah. Slow, Granny, slow, Granny, slow. It's the little old lady from Hialeah. Slow, Granny, slow, Granny, slow. It's the little old lady from Hialeah.
Okay, I played Tamarack and the little old lady from Hialeah, so we have a little equal time.
Like they're always.
So the Hialeah City Council can pass a resolution, and we're picking on them, and they can do it up in Tamarack. We're just picking on everybody, okay? We are an equal opportunity picker. That's what they say on the Mike Ranieri show. Okay, it's 1:39, 21 till 2. We got a call from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hello.
Neil, Bird.
Yes, sir.
It is cold out here.
Well, good luck to you. It's pretty damn cold here, too, pal.
What do you mean?
It's not pushing 70.
Get up. Oh, okay. I'm talking about wind chill of -20.
Well, that's not too bad.
Hey, I'm coming back into town. This is Jerry from Plantation. I wanted to know, first off, how's the pothole doing in our neighborhood?
Oh, we got that temporary patch, man. It's really great. It's got water up all around it, and it's just a real mess. And if we live long enough, all the big machers on that street there, man, are going to get everything all straightened out, boy.
What did they have to do, airlift in asphalt from I-95 to get that taken care of, or what?
Just the fault part.
Gotcha. Well, I'm coming in this weekend. Any good bets at the track?
No, I don't have. We've given up picking at the track, okay?
We're cold.
We're as cold as a large block of ice.
As you are.
Poop the guts out,
22 below, I think.
Yeah. Oh, man. What's this about Sports Channel? You guys advertising the Sports Channel. Is it possible that Plantation...
Well, if enough people get on a horn to Continental Cable, man, that's the idea. They want people to get on a phone call or cable company, say, hey, listen, we want to see all of these things, like the NHL All-Star game that was on the other night. We want to be able to see them. I know it's revolutionary, but the way to do it is have, if the sports channel's on your cable.
Well, let's start forming in front of the Publix tomorrow around sunrise, and we'll just march it right on down there.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Have a great trip.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
Bye. Well, let's see. We started out this morning somewhere. Where was it?
Where was it?
Princeton, New Jersey. Princeton, New Jersey. And now we are getting toward the end here. We're getting Tulsa, Oklahoma, man. This show has just made it all over the country. And I have a feeling that city commissions from coast to coast are going to be meeting with emergency meetings pretty soon to pass emergency resolutions about this dangerous radio program with these sociopathic hosts.
Yeah, you better get one off to Princeton. People are calling
Princeton, New Jersey. There's a good one for you, pal. Get on a horn now. Get that typewriter going.
Luxembourg, we get a lot of
Luxembourg,
calls.
man, I'd write one to the... don't they have a king or a queen over there? I'm not sure. Well, probably a lot of queens going to be getting letters. Miami, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Okay.
It's been a hell of a week, huh?
Yes, it has. Well, you just don't sound too excited about it, though.
Oh, I'm very excited. I'm just...
Can I say something? I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but you're just such a laid-back guy. I have a feeling that... I don't know how to say this politely, but I just don't know if anybody could ever tell you we're really excited. Are there ever those moments?
You don't know if you could tell that I was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, I'm waiting for that with bated breath.
Okay. I'm just wondering...
No, you do know what I mean. I mean, it's like... There are just some people that you've encountered in your life, and you wonder if they ever just get off that, tone. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, believe me, I've had my bad days.
Really?
I'm not saying you're having a bad day. It's just you're very laid back.
Well, believe me, if you had, situations I have, you'd be very laid back, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you give us any examples?
Well, no, we don't want to delve and pry. Not today. We'll save them for next week.
Yeah, next week I'll give you a little hint. By the way, I'm calling from a unicycle with a mobile phone. Does that count?
Yeah, that's our favorite.
Okay.
You don't know Patrick McGowan, do you?
No, I don't.
You remember? You don't remember The Prisoner?
The Prisoner? No.
That was a series that Dave Dixon used to run on 51 all the time. It was a great had a cult following.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a really bizarre series about this spy, this British spy, who was kidnapped and put on this island and given a number and everything.
Number 3.
And anyway, the beginning of the show, the symbol was a guy on a unicycle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with anything, but he mentioned it.
I was always into the Big Bubble, but, that's just
the Big Bubble on the beach it was like Big Brother, and it would chase you around, and when you try to escape this, it looked like a giant rubber ball, and it would chase you around and envelop you.
Cool show. Real cool.
But anyway, I know that's not what you called about.
Well, I'd listen to anything. It's all right.
So anyway.
Other than that idiot in the truck that you raced with your Supra, have you raced anyone else?
The idiot in the truck?
Yeah, you said you raced someone in the truck who kept... Oh, no, the Cadillac.
No, that kid in the Cadillac. And by the way, there was also a letter from our favorite friend about that, about my going on the air and talking about drag racing a young man in a Cadillac and about how I was out trolling for boys again.
Well,
I mean, I'll tell you one thing. If my life was 5% as exciting as this person evidently thinks it is, I wouldn't have time to do this show.
Well, I guess they failed to mention the good things about, the station, like, raising the money for the homeless.
No, there are no such good things. Don't you understand? We don't do anything that's right or anything that's good.
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm laid back, because everyone looks at the bad and not the good.
That is correct, especially when you live here.
Sure.
You're
okay,
right.
Neil.
Well, listen, cheer up a little bit. Have a great weekend.
You too.
See ya.
Bye.
144 at WIOD. We have an open line in Dade, 751-9463. 751-WIOD. And we've really, we set a lot of records today. We had our first call from a pickup truck on a mobile phone. We had our first call from a unicycle on a mobile phone. Well, close. And
what else?
We had several calls, I think the most calls ever from University of Miami students.
No question.
What was it,
today. 3?
Yeah.
And that is
3.
absolutely
And I got news for you, man. When we get 3 calls from the U of M, man, that is so monumental.
Oh.
I mean, it's just incredible. Shocking.
I can't get over it. I don't know
because,
what's
like
going
I
on.
said, I mean, there are a lot of nice kids over there. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not what you call your real activist place. Okay? It's not a hotbed of real student activity. You know what I'm saying? It's like cruising and snoozing, I think, basically, is what it's all about over there. Just not a real active, progressive, exciting bunch, you know?
Never has been.
Very snooty, but again, I'm generalizing, and we shouldn't do that, should we? Sure we should. Okay, here's a mobile in Boca. Hello. Okay, good call. I like those mobile calls that hang on all that time, and then as soon as you punch them up, they hang up. Now, that's really worth it, isn't it, to spend... Well, maybe they couldn't hear it on their car radio. Fort Lauderdale, hello.
How you doing? I just want to come to the defense of all the Toyota Supra turbo cars that are out there. I bought mine down at Hollywood Toyota, and I bought it also from Ned. And I've had it about 3 months, and there's nothing on the road that has been able to catch me or anything. And I think the most fantastic, ultimate driving machine.
Oh, yeah. It's so smooth riding. That's the thing that I love about it is, the Corvette is faster, I'll be honest with you. I could beat you in a Corvette. But as far as...
Are you serious now?
Oh, yeah.
Because I've run 2 Vets, and...
What years?
One was... I would say it was the 88, or it was the flush back one. I thought it was a new one. And I don't know what engine he had. I know the new one that's supposed to have the Lotus would blow off the turbo with no problem, but those Ford Mustang 5.0 GTs, the guys will start to run me, and I just walk away from them, and they can't believe it, so I just gave up on them. And
Nick says that's an 86 bet.
It's an 86?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I got an 88, and I'm going to be honest with you. Seriously, it's faster than the Supra. But the Supra is not only extraordinarily fast, but it is so smooth riding. I've had a lot of cars, and I've ridden in a lot of sports cars, and I've had other, Japanese cars before. This is the smoothest riding sports car that's got the speed to go along with it. It's just a tremendous car.
Have you seen, it's when you buy a car, like if you buy a Corvette, all of a sudden you see 20,000 Corvettes. To be very honest with you, I've only seen 3 Toyota Supra turbos on the road. I see a lot of Toyota Supras.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that many turbos on the road.
I agree with you. I see very few.
I want to tell you something. I'm 47. I just got into my midlife crisis. I got rid of the Rivieras, the Cadillacs, and I think it's the ultimate driving machine. Excuse me. And when these people call up in their trucks and everything else, and I look at it as they're jealous because they can't afford a $29,000 car.
Yeah.
But I went to buy a Vet, and when I got in it, I told the guy, I said, I'll buy it. I couldn't get out of the car. And I think that the Toyota Supra is made for the driver with all the controls you got to make your seat. I had 3 guys in it last night, and the guy in the back seat was complaining there was no leg room, but then I went to pass a truck, and I saw like 15 cars in a row, and I just floored it, got around them. And the guy in the back said, the other guy in the front, I should say, said he wanted to go in the back with him. But I've never in my life, and I've owned Vets too, I've never enjoyed a car more than I have the Supra with the turbo in it. And I've got the target top that comes off just like the VIN.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I got.
Enjoy it. I think that you'll find out that these people that keep talking about it or think they're little Mustangs that these 18-year-olds pick up with all the engine and burn on the rubber. The Super doesn't burn anything. It just goes out and eats them up.
You got it. Hey, thanks a lot.
Hey, how do you like Ned?
Ned's a super guy. All the people over there are great.
I tell you, it's the first time. I mean, you go out and you buy a Cadillac or whatever kind of car you buy, and then you go in there, and after the first year, everything falls apart. And the thing that I like is you can make an appointment to go down with your Toyota and then go in there when they say they do everything that they say they're going to do.
Yeah.
By the way, do you know Cy that calls you, the accountant?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good friend, and also Bob Morton from UCCA that does commercials with you.
Cy?
Yes.
Oh, Cy.
Yes.
I thought you meant that other Cy in Fort Lauderdale.
No, the one in Fort Lauderdale, the accountant. He said if I called up and used your name, you would hang up on me, because I didn't want to use his name. When I was just over at Bob's place, I do printing for Bob.
Wait a minute, you're talking about the Cy who hates us with a passion?
He's an accountant. He calls you up from Fort Lauderdale?
No, the one I know is in the insurance business. But
No, hold on, take it back. You're right, insurance.
Yeah, I know him.
He lost a lot of weight.
Well, good luck to him. I hope he loses a lot more. Have a great weekend.
Hey, nice talking to you.
Bye. Wow. Well, that was a great commercial for Toyotas and Toyota of Hollywood, which is sensational and unsolicited, and he's absolutely right. And as far as Cy is concerned, oh, God, talk about hysterical. Anyway, Valentine's Day. All right, it's 1:53. We're almost at the end of the week, and it would be, well, I was going to say it would be unfair, but it wouldn't be unfair. It would probably be appropriate to take a couple of moments out here toward the end of the show because this is old business again, about the business cards.
Yeah.
And you were joking to me about the fact that they're not ready yet. We're not getting them. Because Mr. Disney said that it's inappropriate to make business cards for talent. See, the salespeople have got business cards, and the people in management at all levels, I'm sure, have business cards, including some people we're not really quite sure what they do here.
Right.
But the talent doesn't get business cards. I can't seem to get across that every station I've worked at this market...
Me too.
And every major market that I know... The major talent, even the producers have business cards, okay?
Yeah. And I use them, believe it or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Constantly.
There are a lot of places you go. And, for example, when you go out on an appearance, like when Steve and I were at Toyota of Hollywood, and at that time there were no bumper stickers. We had nothing at all to give out. And, you know, you're looking for something to sign. A business card is a convenient thing if you got a stack of them that you take along with you.
One example.
Oh, one of many.
He's never heard of talent having a business card. Mr. Disney, I've never heard of talent not having a business card.
We keep saying that, and they just don't seem to understand that.
Well, I guess this is a major
Is it a
issue.
major expense? Because I'll have them printed myself if it's, going to put a tremendous imposition.
Well, me too.
Well, probably, see, because nobody's around, and I asked Cheryl before about my check, and I get paid every Friday, and nobody seems to know anything about it, so perhaps they're out, like, taking up a collection. Now, if they deliver it, if by some miracle by the end of the day my check does materialize, maybe then I could afford to take a few bucks out of there and get some business cards on my own. I might even get some for you, out of the kindness of my heart.
You are a kind man.
Because I know it's a major expense. Now, the fact... I realize the fact that we got about 400 people here in the hallway walking up and down who we have no concept of what it is that they do, and they don't either. That should, come as no...
All right. Well, obviously I brought up a rough area there.
Yeah.
Brought it
I
up
think
a
it's
few
about time
ago.
you stopped making trouble.
I guess so. I guess I was...
Business cards? Who the hell are you kidding? What do you think? You're somebody important?
What is wrong with me? Well...
Maybe, now listen, maybe with a pencil.
Oh, my. Okay. All right. Okay. I guess they have an apology coming from me.
Yeah. Who the hell do you think you are, anyway?
I'll take care of that today.
Yeah, please. I want you to profusely, not just a regular apology, I want a profuse apology,
they'll get one they'll remember.
And about those Venetian blinds in there, too.
Same
those
level.
Vertical blinds, it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Keep them open, okay? Keep your hands off the vertical.
Yeah, I got into that, too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I think now you're beginning to understand the kinds of things that upper-level management has to cope and deal with on a daily basis, okay?
Yeah, I sure am. You're
Vertical blinds and business cards.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were wondering, some of the things they do, and we're finding out slowly. One
thing I do want to say to you, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, that all management people, and they're very nice folks here and all of that, and they pretend they've got some clue as to what they're doing, but all management people have got a thing about talent, even if it's not a conscious thing. In their subconscious, there's this thing. And, of course, with all the stuff that's going on now, even though they don't verbalize it, I'm sure somewhere in the back of their mind they say, oh, gee, we could just get some big automation machines, if we could find a way to do it that way. And just, because I'm telling you, the day will come, it'll be automated talk. You know how you get these computerized messages when you answer the phone? Which I always hang up right away. I think most people do.
Selling things.
The day will come, folks, that you'll be dialing the phone and you'll hear a computer on the other end of the line.
Thank you very much for your call. Have a nice day.
Gary Lawrence used to call what I did, and I assume what you did too. But he used to say to me, he used to call what I did cutting out paper dolls. He had the important stuff to do.
Cutting out paper dolls?
He said, "You're going to
go." He said?
Yeah, you're just going to go cut out.
It's
paper
amazing
dolls.
he said that because Gary. A lot of people wonder what happened to him since he left WINZ. He is seriously for a living now. He cuts out paper dolls.
What goes around
comes around. Yeah, that's true. That's a true story. No, he's all right. He and I always got along well, except at contract renewal time when we negotiated. He was tough, man. He was a real tough cookie.
You're not kidding. That's an understatement.
But anyway, see around here they pay you a lot of money, but you just don't get your check. So it looks good on paper, but then when you start looking in your checkbook and you say, "What the hell's going on here?" I'm making a fortune, but I don't have any money.
You're so picky.
Well, you notice I make a big timus about this every week. I go about the check because voluntarily you rarely get it. I mean, like the regular ones every other Friday, everybody gets those in that one kind of envelope. But those ones that I get,
the special color,
the special color checks, that come like from a Swiss bank or something. Unless you really make a big deal about that, it just never happens, Anyway, we're just about out of time for the week, and we thank again everybody who sent in the letters and the fax things and all the other voice of support. And we can, sit here and joke and everything, but it's a real ponderous thing, and it's gone on for too long, and it's going to stop, okay? And you'll notice you can trace all of it back, whether it's Hallandale, whether it's University of Miami thing, all of it back to one individual, okay?
Amazing.
Now, doesn't that tell you something? In a metropolitan area of 4 million people, basically, we got a problem with one person.
In 4 million, that's
out of
correct.
4 million.
Yeah.
So I guess we must be doing something really wrong. Well, listen, we're going to try to clean up our act over the weekend, have a real good one. Best and Neil tomorrow. I think we're going to replay something like today's show, something real old that you won't remember. And stay tuned for 4 hours of open phones with Steve. Coming up next on 610 WIOD.